Oh, what will he say? The 91st NFL draft is in the books. Over 800,000 people ascended on Pittsburgh. Next year, it's in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. And the NFL is already saying they could generate over 1 million people to Washington, D.C. next year for the NFL draft. Welcome aboard. Appreciate you guys coming in here. Super chats go to the top. Please hit that like button. Massive storylines coming out of the draft. And first and foremost, before we get going, like I said, all last week, I never really thought, and I was never really enamored with this 2026 draft. It really wasn't a power pack draft. So how did some of the general managers react to that? How did they go about their business? How did they go about building their football team? We're going to go over all the picks for the Eagles here, and I'm going to give you my takeaways right away. And then we're going to go over the picks. I think Howie drafted best player Vale. I think that was the right approach. I think Jason Light with the Buccaneers did the same thing. And I think that's why they landed on guys. I would make this comment as we go through the draft picks. I look at all of their draft picks, and it looks like many of these guys could have been taken sooner, which means you're landing on a guy that you went best player of Vale. And I do think that that's the best angle. I want you guys to know a stat. Remember something after round 3. Over 30% of an NFL 53-man roster is built up of guys drafted rounds 4 through 7. So did you hear what I said? Players that are drafted from rounds 4 through 7, okay, and UDFAs, undrafted free agents, make up NFL rosters. You can't pay everybody. So a lot of the guys that you saw picked later are going to make NFL rosters. I felt a lot of teams were reaching for players in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, because they went with needs. Like, do you really think that the Las Vegas Raiders needed Fernando Mendoza? That's a horrible pick for the Raiders. You just brought in Kirk Cousins. Are you sure Fernando Mendoza is going to be a guy that's going to have a better career than, say, a David Bailey or Francis from Miami or any of the players? You think he's a better player than Jeremiah Love? The Raiders did that because they got a quarterback on a rookie deal. Listen, I think Fernando Mendoza has a chance to be a really good player, to be a generational player. I don't see it. Now, it won't shock me because of the way he handles himself. I love the kid. But I don't see generational talent at that position. Like, I don't see a guy who can make all the throws in tight windows in the NFL. And that's what I gauge it on. Can you make all the throws that you're going to need to make in the NFL? I don't see that. Eagles done with the edge rusher, or are they thinking of adding one more, Sills, like a vet? You're probably going to have to wait until post-June to see if there's any salary cap casualties. Okay, so you're probably going to have to go down that. You're probably going to have to go down that lane. So let me get into the Eagle picks. So I really hate to do this on April 27th. And I'm gonna put the names, and I'm gonna put these words in your ear here. Potential and prospects. That's what they are. Potentials and prospects. Those words mean these guys haven't done it yet. I'm Switzerland on every one of them. It's not a bad thing. Let's see how they matriculate their game. Let's see how they evolve as players. But before we sit here, you can't sit here on April 27th and make some bullshit comment that you had an A draft. Nobody had an A draft. Now, did you address needs? So let's start there. Wide receiver is going to be a need. Yes. Tight end's going to be a need. Yes. Offensive tackle is going to be a need. Quarterback's a need. Offensive interior is a need. Safety is a need. And the outlier is the kid from Nigeria. We'll talk about all of these guys here in a minute. I haven't broken even the kid from North Dakota State. I mean, I didn't get it, but it really doesn't matter if I get it. Because, again, the reason I say it's a need at quarterback, because eventually you're going to have to determine whether or not Jalen Hurts is the face of this new offense. Not the face of the franchise, but whether or not he's the face of this new offense that you're implementing. So let's go here. Let me get this here. And let me go down the list here because I wrote down my synopsis here. And let's do this. I wrote it on a spreadsheet here. Okay. So let me go here with Lemon. Let me get here. Okay. So let's start it out with Lemon. And let's go down the list. And we're going to go down the list of all the players. By the way, appreciate you guys. Did I get this? Let's see here. Let me go back here. Snoop, appreciate it. Are Jeffrey and Howie are moving past Nick and Hurts, looking forward and looking towards the future by giving the OC everything he wanted on his grocery list. We'll get into that. I really appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. By the way, end of the day, how in God's name can you give anyone a kind of grade when these guys don't even own helmets? This is potential and prospects. Potential and prospects. There's no way on April 27th knowing anything of what you have. Hell, your sixth rounder may have more impact on your football team than your third rounder. You have no idea yet. You have to wait and see how they fit into the new Sean Mannion and also Vic Fangio defense. Have no idea if Vic even thinks any of these guys that they've drafted are going to help. You have no idea. Again, you're guessing and you're hoping. Nothing wrong with that. If you guys want to give grades, that's great. Nobody on the planet that's inside the NFL gives grades. That's a 3-year process. Okay? Okay. So let's go with Lemon. I think he's underdrafted. I think you got a football player that's underdrafted. Hey, and for the record, Micah Parsons is a complete dick. So this guy takes a shit on this guy the day of his draft when his family's there, and that guy takes a shit on him. What a dickhead. He said he was a product of the Lincoln Riley offense and everybody around him. Hey, dude, you're going to have the entire 2026 season to make that assessment on whether the kid's going to be Jalen Reagor or whether or not he's going to be the next Devontae Smith. I thought it was a dick move for a guy who's standing on an anthill in Green Bay wishing he was still a Dallas Cowboy so everybody would understand. I think he's just barking. I think the guy was a dick to make that comment. I mean, like I said, give the guy an opportunity to at least get a helmet, get his locker. This guy just got his locker issued today. And you're taking a shit on the guy? Come on, man. So we'll see on what the kid, again, we kind of gave this here a little bit. What I would do as a prospect, he's underdrafted. Here's a guy that could have went a little higher, anywhere between 10 and 15. Instead, you get him at 20. I thought he would be somewhere between 10 and 15. So he's underdrafted. Howie looked at the guy on the board and said, who's the best dude on the board right now that will help me? And depending on what happens with AJ, that's where he went with this. So again, as a prospect and potential, I think that's really a nice move. And it's a need. Remember something. To sit there and say that he's a good player in the NFL is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Parsons has always thought he was an expert. You're right, Sills. He was barking from Siberia, hoping someone will listen. Hey, dude, I hate to say this to Eagle fans, but when you were the Dallas Cowboys star, your voice is heard a little more. Tony Romo, Troy Aikman, Moose. Look at all the people from the Cowboys that are Jason Garrett. Look at all the people that are in the media. Michael Irvin. All Dallas Cowboy guys. And this is why this guy's bitching and moaning. And by the way, he's at a legendary franchise like Green Bay, and he's bitching. He wishes he was a Cowboy. So I think he was a dick. All right. Look, I think here there's no doubt he was underdrafted. He's gonna have a chance to help the Eagle offense. But the question is Jalen Hurts going to help him as a passing quarterback? Jalen Hurts is not a passing quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a dual threat quarterback. Seals, John Clark put out a report that Howie could be looking to sign or trade for a safety. Any idea on who or that could or will they start Carter Epps? I don't know. Maybe it's Bates. I know Atlanta wants to get away from Bates. Okay? Now, here's the thing, and I appreciate that, Cullen. Thank you. Here's the thing now. Jalen Hurts is a dual threat quarterback. And with all the additions that you've added, Jalen Hurts, Budda Baker could be another guy. That's a name that's being thrown out there too. Budda Baker. There's no chance in hell, zero, that you're getting Derwin James from the Chargers. Zero. I wouldn't give him up for A.J. Brown. Not happening. He's a tone setter. Okay? I'll get to this question. I'll get to it. I like that. But, yeah. So, is Mekhi Lemon going to be developed by a quarterback who hasn't developed the passing game? So, you drafted a wide receiver and a quarterback who has not evolved the passing game. That's the biggest dilemma going into training camp. That's the biggest dilemma going into OTAs. Is that the quarterback has not developed the passing game in his 5 years as starter. It's been bottom 10 the entire time except for 1 year. In 2022, that will be the biggest question mark. So you sign all these players and you sign all these offensive guys, and your football team in the last 5 years with Hurts as a starting quarterback has had a bottom 10 passing game. The entire time but 1 year. That's going to be the question with Micah Lemon. Okay. So let's go to the next guy. Eli Sters. I wrote these guys on a spreadsheet that I prepared. Okay. I like his height. He's 6'4". He's 240 pounds. And here's his pre-draft. Adjusts to route redirection and can beat linebackers down the seam. Displayed good in and out quickness from his breaks versus Texas. He's a hand catcher, which is great. That's Travis Kelce. Excels at bringing in throws from the outside his frame, tracks downfield throws, which means he can, if you overthrow him, he can run to the catch. 7-foot high jumper, which is insane great. Tells me he's an exceptional athlete. Dangerous acceleration, which means he can outrun people once after the catch. Here's weaknesses. Coasts in route breaks, drifts instead of making crisp cuts. He's not a very good route runner. He doesn't run very good routes. He gets lazy in his routes. I think this is where Nick comes in. Okay? Nick is a wide receiver coach. And if anything, the wide receivers have been an exceptional position in the Nick Sirianni era. The tight end position has been underutilized because of the quarterback. So, to me, again, teaching him how to run. Now, remember, athleticism, speed, and quickness. You can't teach that. But you can teach a guy how to run a route. Okay? So this is very fixable. Inconsistent to claim his catch space on contested throws. So he's not very good at fighting for footballs and, and going to the point. I think that's got a lot to do with still learning the position. Commitment and aggression as a run blocker is not where it needs to be. He's soft. He's not a very good blocker at the point of attack and can get dish-ragged. I mean, he got thrown around in the Alabama game. Go back and watch that film. If they get their hands on him, he can get tossed. And if you're playing against Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to shake the fucking change out of you. So he needs to be a little better. Now, you could also do something like this. You can play him in more space. Okay? Sills, like I've been saying, you overreact way too soon in the offseason. You were saying, where's the DE coming from? You still haven't, you have no idea what the fuck you're doing here, guy. You have no idea if one of these guys are going to play at all. What are you talking about? Rookies rarely play. You had one guy last year have impact on your team, and then he got sent to the bench once Nakobe came in. And the other guy got hurt. And the rest of those draft picks had zero impact on your football team a year ago. Zero impact. Zero. So don't talk to me about rookies. I don't want him on special teams. He's not very good in special teams. That doesn't really matter. I think he's an athlete. I think he has a chance. And let's see what he does and how. By the way, this is also going to come down to the quarterback. Ask yourself this question. Okay? Ask yourself this question here. If the quarterback didn't utilize, or here, let's do this. Do you think Jalen Hurts in 5 years utilized Dallas Goedert? Lemon is not going to be used on special teams. Do you believe that Jalen Hurts and that offense have used the tight end well? Absolutely not. Here. Let's go here with Dallas Goedert. So Dallas Goedert's years in Philadelphia since 2021. "56 catches, 55 catches, 59 catches. He missed 7 games in 24, so 42, not bad. And then this last year he had his best, which was 60. On the scale, when it comes to the average tight ends in the NFL today, most of the NFL tight ends that are legit tight ends are 70 catch guys. And I think Dallas Goedert has been a good player. I think he's been underutilized. Like, usually in the past, tight ends on the Eagles have caught 100 passes before in the past. So I don't really think that the tight end position, and quite frankly, when you look at all the targets, here, like we said this past year, here, let's do this. So let's go to the Eagles. So here's your pass catching. You had 113 targets and 121 targets to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith a year ago. That's 234 targets out of 464 targets. Half of your targets went to 2 dudes. 2 dudes. Goddard got 82 targets. After that, 40. The running back got targets. Here's the receivers after that. 36, 11, and 4. You had 50 targets outside of your top 2 wideouts. You don't really spread the ball around. Now, they want to change that with this new offense. Okay. Again, I think the kid Stowers is a project. Where are you going to play him? Can't play him at the point of attack. He'll get his ass killed by great defensive ends. He's not very physical. He's got great hands. I'd play him in space, like Kyle Pitts down in Atlanta. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for Sean Mannion and how they're going to play him. Sills, would you say this would be Lemon's numbers his rookie year, 935, 74 catches, and 5 TDs? Do you know whose numbers those are? CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee played in the slot, so you're assuming Lemon's going to play in the slot? Well, he had Dak Prescott throwing him the ball. That's quite a difference from Jalen Hurts throwing him the ball. But for a first-round pick, and if you lose AJ, yeah, I could see him between being 800 or like 900. Sure. I could see him being in that conversation. Okay. I happen to know Markeel Bell very well. So let me go here. And I'll tell you why he went in the 3rd round. He's an enormous guy. He's as big as Bryant McKinney when he was at Miami. Bryant McKinney is an enormous man. Like Bryant McKinney. Here, let me put this in context for you. Markeel Bell is a bigger player than Jordan Mailata. Like, he's bigger. He's got a bigger frame, and he's a bigger dude. Okay? He's a big guy. Like, you know, when he was younger, he wanted to be a basketball player. This guy's like almost 6'10". So here's his pre-draft, and I'll add to it. He didn't do any verticals. He didn't do any broad jumps. He didn't do any cone drills. He didn't even bench at his pro day or the combines. He ran a 5'3" for 350 pounds and 6'9". That's not terrible. Okay? That's not. So here's his pre-draft. Unique size, a massive wingspan. Let me tell you something. If you get caught up with him, you're not going anywhere. It's like a web. Okay? It's like a web. Uproots and moves 3 techniques when running feet on double teams. You put him in a double team, they annihilated the guys from Ohio State. You know that defensive tackle that went in the second round from the Buckeyes? He fucking killed that kid in that game. Uses mass to cover and obstruct base blocks. Just the fact of his pure size, like Mekhi Becton, seeing around that guy when you're a defensive tackle and you got to try to get around that, it's impossible. It's impossible to get around that. Does a nice job of maintaining length and leverage. He plays over his pads well. Like, he doesn't get knocked off his balance. Like, if you grab him and shake him and pull him, he keeps his backside straight and he keeps his back up. He's a pretty good athlete. For that size, the problem that I have with him, he tortured that guy. The problem, if you even go to Baldy's tape, he'll do this. He'll duck his head. You duck your head in the NFL, it's over. A guy like Aiden Hutchinson or Myles Garrett, pull that head down, and they're swimming over you. And they're assassinating your quarterback. Can't duck your head. Got to keep your head up at all times. As soon as you duck, boom, you're done. Shake him. He's got to keep his head up. The little tendency that he has is that he'll duck his head because he's trying to hit you on the way and trying to knock you off balance. Collects and controls the rush with strong grip. Rare for rushers to crowd into his frame. Like, you can't get up in him and do a bull rush. Here's the issues. Speed rushers and benders will be tough for him to match. Like, you know what I would do to him? To Markeel Bell? I'd put Nolan Smith on him in practice and in these OTAs and minicamps, and I would rush the shit out of him with Nolan, if Nolan can. Because speed rushers give him a problem. They gave him a problem all last year. And people got around him a little bit. Kid from SMU got around him. But needs a firmer, more proactive punch. That's a hard thing for guys that are that tall, is to get that punch in there. It's kind of like haymakers. That's what makes Lane so insane. Lane looks like a 6'2" athlete that's 6'6". Lane Johnson is almost the perfect tackle. Him, Tristan Wirfs, and Trent Williams. Those guys are like the perfect dudes. They're big, great punches, phenomenal feet, can play any position in the offensive line, and are exceptional athletes. Lane is wide wingspan, strong hands, powerful guy, great feet, never gets his head down, can deal with bull rushers and edge rushers. Lane's like the perfect OT, dude. Impossible to replace that. I mean, there's nothing Lane Johnson does that's bad, except now in his older age getting hurt. That's it. Like, there's no flaw in his game. Like, he's great on second moves. He's great with bull rushers. He's great with edge rushers. I mean, the prototypical offensive tackle, Tristan Wirfs, Lane Johnson, and Trent Williams in today's game. Exceptional. Trump said the NFL needs to sign a guy who ran through security. I think he'll be busy for the next life. Lacks fluid and quickness in his feet. Kid's got to move his feet. Now, okay, here's my takeaway on knowing the kid. I asked Mario Cristobal, here, let me do this. I'm going to send Mario a text. Mario, Markeel Bell, I'm on in Philly. I'm on in Philly. Give me your takes on Markeel Bell. I would say that Mario Cristobal is one of the top offensive line recruiters in today's college football. From Penei Sewell to Francis, who just went in a high pick. All the players that he's put in the National Football League when he was at Alabama. And let's see what Mario says about him. Actually, this is my favorite pick because I think there's so much you can do with him. I wish he had Jeff Stoutland. But, you know, Chris Cooper, I don't know who this guy is. But at the end of the day here, I don't really know who he is. And I just wish he was coached by Jeff Stoutland. I'm partial to Jeff Stoutland because Jeff Stoutland coached at Miami for 5 years and produced Bryant McKinney. He'd have been perfect for him. Bryant McKinney was down there with Jeff. And he recruited Bryant McKinney, who's a 6'9" guy, too. This would have been a perfect matchup if, you had that kind of dynamic there. Okay, so I like the pick. Probably my favorite of the Eagle picks. So let's go here. Cole Payton. Yeah, I don't get it. Possesses a sturdy frame of an NFL quarterback. So he looks the part. Dual threat with 31 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, he's an FCS guy. Hey, name me an FCS guy that's starting in the NFL today. Is there one? Is there an FCS starter in the NFL today that graduated from an FCS school? I mean, is there a guy in the game today? Is that like any at that level? I'm talking quarterback. Quarterback. Is there a quarterback from FCS that's starting in today's NFL? RC3 thinks this guy doesn't resemble Hurts. Tyler Slaw went to Syracuse, I think. Didn't he? I don't remember where he went. Joe Flacco went to Delaware State. Joe Flacco starting in Cincinnati? Since when? There's a dude named Burrow there. Flacco's a backup. Is there any dude starting? Can you listen? In today's NFL. Josh Allen went to Wyoming. He played Mountain West. Okay, well, here. So, why would I ask that? Who's the competition you're playing against? So when you tell me that he has 31 career rushing touchdowns, that is not impressive to me. Piles on scores with both called and manufactured runs. Means he can't read a defense. That's usually what happens with a guy like that. Left-handed passer, which already I hate because your teams traditionally are built for left-handed offensive game plans. Above average placement on deep throws outside the numbers. Here's the weakness. Only one season of starting. Trey Lance had one season of starting. Needs a makeover with his passing mechanics. Throws with a wide base and leaves his back half behind in delivery. Unable to generate NFL caliber throws in tight windows. Not prepared to dissect zone coverages into immediate space. Likely requires a tailored scheme to fit his strengths and weaknesses. I thought we just fucking got away from this with Hurts. That's a stiff. Hey, I don't get the pick. Okay. His own profile doesn't even talk highly of him. April 27th, not going to say any more than that, but that pick don't make sense to me. I get Howie going quarterback. Him? Okay. His own profile, his own strengths in his profile are bad. I mean, I don't get that pick. Micah Morris, yeah, that Payton pick don't make sense, but I mean, like I said, there's not one redeeming quality on his profile that you sit there and go, wow, what a good player. Or how about this? I'll take that back. What a good prospect. I mean, sure. They must see something, so all good. So here, another big dude in the O-line. Interior help. He's the sixth pick, sixth round. 5 flat 40 at 6'6", 340 pounds. Great. The kid can move. 10-yard split, 173. This kid had a 30 vertical. 30 bench press. That's solid. You know what happens in the NFL draft? What I hate? Like Reuben Bain. his measurables, okay? His measurables dropped him in the draft and not his tape. Every NFL, there's no perfect NFL player. Peyton Manning didn't have a strong arm. What did he do? He became an anticipation thrower. John Elway was told that he threw the ball too hard. He had no touch. Tom Brady was a horrible athlete, they said. Wasn't able, and for Brady not to be able to use his wheels because he ran one of the worst 40-yard dashes like in NFL history. What did he do? He had to come up with an intermediate passing game and a check down game to offset that. And that's what he did. That's what my point is, when you know that a player's got a deficiency, you coach around it and you develop the player around his deficiencies. I mean, I love to hear this. Freaky weight room strength shows up on the field. That means he's throwing dudes out of the club. Athletic for his size and ability to adjust in space. That means if he gets beat on a first move, he can get back and slide his feet to get back into position. Uses size and nimble feet to climb and cover linebackers, can get to the second level. I can't wait to read the guy's weaknesses. Stones the rush with landing hands directly in frame. That's so great to hear. That means when that guy punches you, he stones you. Bang. Nate Newton was like that. Nate's not as big as this, though. Uses grip strength to clinch up rushers who crowd him. You think you're going to get into a bull rush with this guy? He's going to grab and squat. Grab and squat. Dude, you're done. Keeps his pad over his shoes. Love that. All of those strengths are all coachable and really a solid prospect. Now, here's his weakness. Pops upright after snap and stays way throughout the play. That's okay. You know why? Because when you're in college football, I told you this. When I was in college football, I killed players. They didn't block me. You get to the NFL and you look up. What I would do is I could cheat in college. I was a 550-pound bencher. I ran 4.8s. I squatted 700 pounds. Nobody was going to outman me at the point of attack. So I could do this. I could cheat. And I could look around. You do this in the NFL, they'll put you on your back and break your spine. So when you're playing against lesser, listen, when you play in college football, 90% of the players you play against aren't NFL players. You guys don't get that. 90% of the guys you play against aren't NFL players. Everyone you play against in the NFL, these are the best players in the world. So it's a different day. Even in practice, these guys are all good. 90% of the players you play in college will never make it to the NFL or get drafted. None of them. So you can cheat. So the kid cheats a little and he plays high. Well, they think that's going to translate. Now, a good coach has got to keep that down. Don't look up, kid. You'll get put on your back. So that's coachable. Use of outside hands limits ability to control and sustain. He gets beat, it sounds like to me, on his outside. His inside, he's probably really good at sliding to his left. Some guys aren't just great at going both ways. Lane is so good at sliding his feet. Lane is good at sliding his feet. You're strong at every side. Remember, it's a game of angles. Sounds to me like his outside hand is weak, not strength-wise, but in technique and stopping a rusher. Guy lines up in a 3 technique, and he's outside on his shoulder. If I knew what right now, and I knew that his weakness was his left outside shoulder, I'd get in a wide 3 and rush him and move his feet and come back inside on him, maybe with a spin or cross chop, hand spin, or a bull rush, depending if he can handle dual moves. The key is going to be whether or not they can fix that. I think that's coachable. Base narrows when mirrors the rush. This is how you get knocked on your ass. So what a guy will do is, if he lines up in a 3 technique is outside shoulder. Here, I'll show you. This is a 3. Okay, this is a 3 technique. Here's a 1 technique. That's a 1 technique. Here's a 0 technique. Okay? 0, 1, 3. And if he's lined up, head up, what a guy will do is narrow his feet to get more of a base. You push him back, he narrows his. Well, once you narrow your feet like that and you slide your feet in, you quick arm him over because he's going to fall over himself. Sounds like to me he's got to work on his feet a little more. He's so powerful and strong. Sounds like a technique issues. It doesn't really, this is, again, you draft a guy like this who looks like he's got potential. I actually like this pick. See, here is another thing you can coach. He deadens his feet on contact, allowing some leakage into gaps. Dude, the number one thing on the history of God, don't ever stop your feet. You stop your feet, you're beat. Stop your feet, you're beat. So, hey, I like this pick. .66, 340, 34 arm length almost. 5 flat, 40, 30 bench. Plays over his pads. Stones dudes at the point of attack. Got to work on his angles a little better. I think that's nitpicking this guy. This guy's underdrafted. They had this guy projected as a 7th rounder. You write that up about him, and then you give me that Cole Payton guy, and you say he's a better prospect? Yeah, I don't see that. I actually like this pick. I'm okay with it. This Cole's Wiznooki pick is wild. I mean, first I thought he was Steve Wiznooski's kid, but he's not related to Leo or any of them guys. So he's not even part of that family. So he's not part of the Wiznooki family. So 6'3", played at Tech. Triggers into the alley, attacking blocks, runners with force. So he's good against the run. Plays and tackles with enough physicality near the box. So far, I'm seeing a run defender. Has the size and strength to match up against tight ends. Adequate vision and break quickness from zone coverages. This guy's not a good dude in pass coverage. Watch. Carries short arms and below average wingspan. Clunky back pedal with below average fluidity in transitions. Crosses his feet. Lacks burst and ability needed to make up on bad pursuit angles. Missed time at 22 Achilles. Yeah, he's a run-stopping guy. I mean, I wonder how Vic will use this guy. Like, let me tell you this about, like, the opposite of going in and getting a guy like Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is great in open field tackling. He's great in coverage. He's great in tracking. He's just exceptional at everything. This guy looks like a decent run defender. I didn't like this pick or this prospect and his potential. The Cole Payton one, I don't get. And the Wiznooki one, I don't get. Now, the kid that they got from Nigeria. So, I mean, if I look at all these picks that Howie got, the kid from Nigeria, he's got Myles Garrett's measurables without the tape. He's Myles Garrett's measurables with no game tape. So whatever you think of that, am I right when I say that? The kid from Nigeria, or is he Uganda? I have to get back to work, but I have a question. Is Gernard lying to us? Because you told us Hurts doesn't talk to teammates and he's unapproachable. No. I read you what Jeff McClain wrote. Have a good day. Thank you very much, Marsh. So he's Myles Garrett. Nigeria. Thanks, Reyes. He's Myles Garrett with no game tape. And without Myles Garrett's ability. So whatever you want to make it that, I don't know what that means. That's not a football player. That's a guy who works out at a gym. So I don't really know what to say. I don't really have an evaluation other than he's got Myles Garrett. And by the way, he's a 7th rounder. It's not really anything here. So, would pick 251 at the end of the draft, I guess. But as I told you, 30% of your draft picks make up the 53-man roster. So, all in all, the Lemon pick, he was underdrafted. He was one of the top 15 players in the draft. You got him at 20. Eli Sters can't play the run to save his life, and he can't block. He's got great hands, and he's a great athlete. Markeel Bell needs some work. Cole Payton, I don't get. Micah Morris, I think you can work with him. Cole Wiznooki, he's a run defender. Not very much in pass defense. And you drafted a 7th-round guy who's a gym dude. Has no tape. He's got no experience ever playing football. And again, you're going to make the comparisons to Jordan Mailata. So if you're going to do that, okay. If you're calling him the next Jordan Mailata, all right. So here's the one thing I will say, though, on the draft. Underdrafted, Eli Sters, 2nd round. That might be a little high. Markeel Bell, 3rd round. I think that's a nice pick. The Cole Payton, I don't get. The 6th rounder, I think is a good pick. Looks good as a prospect. Wiznooki, I don't know. He can't play the pass. And the gym guy. So there's your draft. Obviously, the thing you have to add to this is the Jonathan Gernard move. And we'll get to that here in a minute. So the Gernard move. So the Gernard move has made your football team better. I'm not a fan on how you got there, though. You let a guy go. You got him. What was it? $25 million So you got him $5 million cheaper. Okay? So you got him at $25 million annually, right? And the other guy was 30. And you sign this guy, and he's basically the same dude at $5 million cheaper. Is that right? Okay. Did you win that transition and that transaction? You let Jalen Phillips go. He's 30 for 4. You're signing this guy at 25. That's $5 million less. Yeah. And you basically signed Jalen Phillips back. Wiznooki's another Blankenship. Okay. We'll see. I didn't see one redeeming quality when it came to talking about his pass defense. And when I saw Miami play, or I saw Oregon play that guy, Texas Tech, yeah, I didn't see it. 2024 is a twilight in football time. Hurts either proves it this year or he's not getting a new deal. Hurts is not getting a new deal. That is $10 million over 2 years. A backup cornerback price. Okay. Seems like a lot of picks to give up. 4 for 2 wide receiver, 2 for Gernard. Can we just have paid Phillips or Sweat? Sweat's the move. If Howie had to do that Sweat all over again, yeah. By the way, I don't give grades on guys who don't own helmets. What are you, stupid? The Nigerian was drafted in the 7th round to inform Eagle fans they won a $21 million lottery. They just need to contact him. Like those emails. Blankenship wasn't good in coverage either. That's what I'm saying. Well, you could say all that right now, all you want on April 27th. I'm not saying he's good or not. I'm just saying what his profile says. I have no idea who he's going to be. You're calling him Reed Blankenship. I'm not calling him anything. He's fucking meat in my book. I'm still confused why Hurts doesn't hold out. Why would you hold out? Why in God's name would you hold out? And by the way, on the Gernard deal, so you gave up draft picks and a third for Phillips and him. Is it 3 draft picks? And you say $5 million. Okay. It's 25, but $50 million guaranteed. Isn't that better? No, you got him. I say you got him at 5 cheaper. Okay. He gave up 2 more draft picks, and he gave up a third for Phillips. You'll get that back in compensation picks next year. And, you probably lose 2 picks on that decision to go $5 million cheaper with the same player. Are you bad? No. Does he help your team? Yes. Has he made your front 7 better? Yes. To me, it's just how you got there. Underdogs, bro, why are you focused on not getting Jalen Hurts extended? I'm not focused. Who in God's... The Eagles aren't focused either. Or they would have given him an extension. Hey, dude, you're talking shit to me about not extending Hurts. And the Eagles aren't extending him. Why don't you fucking take that up with your boy? I mean, if he's doing so well, why haven't they extended him? There's no chance in hell they're extending him this offseason. Nicole Lynn's already been told that. Seals, doesn't defense translate easier in the NFL? So for a player like the Nigerian guy, could you see the field by the time Gernard's deal is up? Oh, I think that guy's got a long way to go, my friend. Before you start talking about, gotcha, Jimbo. Thank you, man. Had the draft been Lemon, EMW, Delp, Bell, Nussmeyer, OG, Trig, A+. I'm not giving any. I don't give grades. You don't give grades to people who don't own helmets. Now, I address the needs. Hey, even with Cole, even with the gym guy, wide receiver, tight end, OT, quarterback, guard, safety, they went on all the needs and best player. It's all good. Howie did his job. Come on, Sills. These picks stink like you do always. You acting soft today. I don't like it. No, I can't. No, I'm giving you. These picks don't stink. I don't know if they stink. How in God's name on a Monday, before they've even stepped on an NFL field, I'm talking about their profiles, what they did in college, and who they are today, and how well that will translate to the NFL. No pick stinks today. You could say, I don't understand it, but how would you know? For me to say that those picks stink validates people who give A+ grades or B grades. Okay? It's prospect and potential. That's all it is. And it means this. They've done nothing. Even the top flight guys, including Fernando Mendoza. Sills, last week I called the development quarterback Cole Payton. Your response was I would stay away from NDSU players. I think they're preparing for the next quarterback. Well, that guy ain't it. I tweeted out as soon as you guys drafted him that was Taysom Hill. You think Taysom Hill is some sort of team you're going to build, or quarterback to build your team around? When you drafted him, look on my timeline. I said he's Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's a gadget. That's a gadget player. Like Diego Pavia could be in Baltimore maybe. I doubt it at 5'10". 5'10", and he has a size 9 shoe. This guy's got the same foot size as M. Reyes. I know chicks with bigger shoes. With getting Phillips and now Gernard, we lost like 4 third-round picks. Hills, I bet you could have drafted a guy that got production. I don't like it. Yeah, I just didn't like the way that you got there to Gernard. You gave up all those draft picks, and you still paid the guy $25 million. Why don't you just pay the one guy 30? Okay, so get this. So now on your defensive line, and here's where you are now. So you're going to pay Gernard $25 million. You just gave another guy $26 million. You're going to give $33 million to Carter, right? That's the money. Okay? Within a matter of 3 dudes, you're talking 51, 33. That's $84 million in salaries. You got to start adding the salaries up now, because you know why? You keep looking at that cap hit. The void years are starting to screw the Eagles over because bills are now becoming due. They owe $400 million that they've got to restructure contracts with, and they have done nothing to try to get any relief. And the main guy who's hurting them is the quarterback, because they haven't restructured his deal. They could get cap relief like they did with Dak. Dak redid his contract. The Cowboys released like $111 million by giving Dak more guarantees. The one guy that they're not, with the biggest contract in the building, touching, they're not touching Hurts' contract. So with 2 guys, you get $84 million. No, 3 guys, you get $84 million. And that's with Cooper. Oh, and by the way, so that's coming up with Nolan Smith's May 1st deal, where you're going to pay him $14 million. Many of you guys are saying you're going to pay $14 million. Okay? So you're going to put $14 million in Nolan Smith's pocket for a guy that misses football games at a regular basis. All right. Phillips and Gernard being the same player is the biggest gaslight since EVs. They are the same player. You said Gene was just a dude coming straight off the bus when he got drafted. But I see you learned your lesson because you now know that guy came from he was a second-round draft pick. Okay, you're right, Marsh. I'm sure your boy, Cole Wiznooski's the new Reed Blankenship. I'm sure he'll be the next Reed Blankenship. Like Keely Ringo was the next all-pro corner. Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'm sure like Keely Bingo or Sidney Brown, like you guys were telling me, superstar players, all-pro season. You're right, Marsh. I'll tell you what. We told you that guy Bingo would never make it. We told you Sidney Brown had issues. You guys were telling me these guys were easy transitions. Okay. You think they're going to wait on Carter in case Hurts flops so they could trade him for a top pick next year? Can they really afford Carter? Get Carter and Hurts off the books. I'm not getting rid of Jalen Carter. Okay? I'm not. So let me see that number there. So I just heard something here. Somebody just said this. So let's go here. See here. Last year he had 3 sacks, 27 sacks. And the last 2 years he's had 15 sacks, and he's 28. I don't think that's old. Let's see. 5. I would say that Gernard's a better pass rusher, but Phillips, in my opinion, is as good against the run. And Phillips' issues, too, have been injuries. Last year, Gernard missed some time, too. But look, I told you, Gernard is going to help the team. There's no question. And Gernard's made 1. Let me double check that. Is it 1 Pro Bowl or 2? One. Made a Pro Bowl in 24. He's made 1 Pro Bowl. Phillips has made none. He's made 1. Okay. Hey, I really like this lefty we got. How many games have you seen him play, Edward? Edward, how many games have you seen him play? How many games? Because he's only played, let's see here, Cole Payton. 3,100, 21 TDs. Runs a 4.5. That doesn't matter. Well, it matters for dual threat. Matters for dual threat. So let me see who he played against. So Illinois State, 101 yards passing, 412. St. Thomas. By the way, they lost that Illinois State game because Illinois State, I think, went to the national championship game. St. Thomas, he threw for 279. You'll have to tell me where that is. Northern Iowa, I believe that's Kurt Warner's school. 15 of 17 for 212. North Dakota, 125, 8 of 15. Youngstown State, 17 of 24. South Dakota State, Indiana State, Southern Illinois. They played Illinois State again and beat them this time. South Dakota, Southeast Missouri State, Tennessee State, and the Citadel. Okay. And North Dakota State was winning by 14 late and gave up 4 straight to lose 28-27. I do believe they have a deal for Tanner in mind. I could feel it. What do you think? Maybe. Yeah. This draft hasn't changed one bit. If you put and lose AJ and you put Lemon and have Lemon and Devontae, your wide receiving core is a downgrade. You're deeper, I think, than you were a year ago with Hollywood Brown and the other guys that you acquired, Dontavian Wicks. I believe you're deeper. It doesn't matter, though. The quarterback's still there. In your wide receiving room, your top 2 guys, that's a downgrade. Mekhi Lemon and Devontae Smith versus A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith is a downgrade. Oh, I know it's an upgrade in your guys' mind. As good as the kid is. And we'll see how Lemon fits in. Seals, I think it's accuracy throwing the ball that intrigues Howie. He gets rid of the ball quicker than Hurts. Dude, against FCS guys, there's not one quarterback in today's NFL. Where did Jacoby Brissett play? Where did he play his college ball? Where did Jacoby Brissett play? Is he an FCS guy? Where did he go to school? He went to NC State. Yeah, thanks. He's an NC State guy. Sills, why would I pay anything for AJ? GM knows the Eagles want to dump him. I can get Juan Jennings for free. I think the Eagles have lost their leverage. Okay. I don't think FCS sucks. I think the competition. Here's another one. So not one kid again from the HBCU schools got drafted that finished their career at an HBCU school. Not one black college where kids finished, like, not like Travis Hunter going from an HBCU to Colorado. I'm talking about finishing. And FCS doesn't have the competition because of the transfer portal. Micah still wishes he's an Eagle. Lemon staying calm. Yeah, I think Lemon's handling it well. I think Micah Parsons is a dick. Listen, you're going to have every chance to question this guy's ability come September. April 27th, why would you shit on the guy? He's a first-round pick. Southern Cal puts another receiver in the NFL. He's on the Eagles. And you got to scream off of your anthill. I think that guy's a loser. I really do. I think Micah Parsons is a loser. Hey, you know what you should be doing? You should be welcoming that kid in, being one of the 27,197 players that have ever been drafted in the NFL in 91 years. Instead, the guy's an asshole. I mean, his family's there. Everyone's enjoying the moment. Trust me when I tell you, dude. You know, you can have every chance to kill the guy. Or the guy pans out and plays great. For me, like I said today, I'm talking about some of it not making sense. The picks all make sense. Wide receiver, tight end, OT, quarterback, guard, safety. He didn't go up. You know, people go, well, he went best player. He went best player. He may have changed the order around a little bit. But Howie had a good day. He had a good 3 days. He didn't do anything except the final kid. You know, 7th rounder? Sure. Okay. Just remember this. 7th rounder is Jordan Mailata. Lemon fits nothing you do. Lemon, you're hoping will fit everything new. Again, he fits nothing you did. He played in the middle of the field. How does he do everything you do? I mean, you just made that up, didn't you? The guy plays in the middle of the field. He made all of his numbers in the middle of the field. And he fits everything we do. You mean the new offense in theory? Moving him around, putting him in the slot, playing him at the Y and Z. All the things in the theories that you're going to do, right? Okay. How does he fit perfectly, Tommy? I'd like to hear your takeaway on that. How's he fit perfectly in what you've done when the guy's the middle of the field production guy? Your receivers in Philadelphia don't make their bread and their money in the middle of the field. They make it at the numbers. So how is this guy different? Like, based on what? He fits perfectly. Like, to this point, Jalen Hurts' career, what has Mekhi Lemon fit into the offense when he traditionally makes his numbers kind of where CD makes them, coming out of the slot, where you never throw to the slot? Sills looks at the helmet. He was our Sills, I'm reading with the Vrabel stuff going on. AJ deal post June 1st could be in jeopardy. No, it's not. Has nothing to. You really think that Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, no matter if you hire a new coach or not, is going to be for Drake May. It's not for Mike Vrabel. You're bringing A.J. Brown in for Drake May, not Mike Vrabel. It's for the quarterback you've invested in and the quarterback that you can believe to get you to the next level. Elliott Wolf is not going to let that deal go south because Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel are swapping spit somewhere in some faraway hotel somewhere. Oh, good, Mr. Hill. Lemon will shine when we get a new quarterback next year. Payton is a body until next year's draft. He's a gadget guy. And if they're looking to get him on the field, so let me ask you this. Can I tell you what I think you drafted him for? Short yardage. There's your new tush-push quarterback. They're going to take Hurts out and put him in. So they take some of the stress off of Jalen and don't get a chance of having Jalen hurt in them piles. So when you get first and goal, you're going to put this kid, Cole Payton, in. And he's going to be your short yardage guy. That's where I see it. Okay? Sills said we'd win 7 games the year we won 14. I said you'd win 11, and you did last year. The year before that, we picked 11. You're right. 24, we were wrong. The other 4 years, we were dead on with you. Said you'd go to the Super Bowl in 22. You told me in 23 you were an elite team, like M. Reyes said. I said you'd have a meltdown. You had a meltdown. 24, absolutely wrong. The rest of them, 4 out of 5. Hey, you got yourself a Super Bowl, though. Lemon's a good route runner and has good separation. That's not exactly what it says on him. It does say he runs great routes. Again, he's a middle-of-the-field guy. There's one thing, I think that's a Nick Sirianni characteristic. He likes route runners. Schefter said it might be a 27 or 28 first-rounder, Sills. Even though the Eagles got Lemon, will New England hold up their end of the bargain? New England will give up next year. If New England wins 6 games, 7, 8, 9 games, you may be picking 13th. You could be picking between 12 and 15 if they go 8 and 9, say, the Patriots. The Patriots go 8 and 9, you're talking about the 13th, 14th, or 15th pick in next year's draft, along with your own, depending on what you do. Can you imagine if you do have a 7 and 10 season? If you're 7 and 10, you're probably picking 10th. So you could have the 10th and the 12th player taken in the draft this coming next 2027. I'd rather be in that conversation than 10 and 7 or 11 and 6. What's the point? Since AJ has been an outside receiver all these years, that's why Lemon is going to help Jalen, because AJ didn't play like him even in college. That's why we didn't throw in the middle with him. Dude, Devontae Smith played all over the field at Alabama. Hurts doesn't want to throw across the middle of the field. That's why you signed a guy like A.J. Brown. He played on the numbers. You've actually done more limitations on Devontae Smith's career because you've held him at one position. You've held him in the second hole and you don't utilize them moving them around the field. Every other big-time offense, when I watch JSN or I watch Puka Nacua or I watch CD, these receivers are moving all over the place. Only in Philly do they have set positions. That's because of the QB. Howie loves the combine warriors. I don't think so. I think the success on the football field dictates that. Doesn't dictate that. You know, it's one thing to go into the combines and really like a guy. It's another thing to see a guy go on the field and have production. I think the last 7 years, I think he's been really good. Big Sills, Philly has never seemed to get production out of the slot. Last one who did was Chip Kelly and Jordan Matthews. What gives? It's the quarterback style, and it's the style of offense. You don't have slot receivers. You're the only guy that really threw across the. Let me tell you this. The guy who threw across the middle of the field more than any quarterback you've had in the last 25 years was McNabb. And that's why your tight ends were dominant. Because McNabb threw across the middle of the field because he knew that's where you made your money. McNabb was the guy who threw across the middle of the field. Look at this. Guys, look at this guy not living in denial. Seals, you say Jalen doesn't like to throw over the middle. Who told you that? Look at his numbers. Look at your offense. You have no screen game. You have no check down game. And you don't throw across the middle of the field. Get this. Or could it be Sirianni valuing no turnovers more than improving the quarterback? Both things can be true. He knows the quarterback struggles across the middle of the field like he did in 23 and like he did at the start of 04. They stopped it and said, go to the numbers, simplify the offense, and let's run the ball. That's what you did. If you want Hurts to get better at throwing across the field, why not get a weapon that can help him develop that part of his game? You have it. No doubt. Here it is. Oh, by the way, so let me get this right. Let me go up here to the Eagles. So you've added, let me see how many offensive players you've added. You've added Micah Lemon, first round pick. You've added Elijah Moore. You've added Eli Sters, second round pick. You've added Hollywood Brown. Anybody else? No. So you've added 4 offensive pass-catching assets to your football team. 4. And, Dontavian Wicks. And you gave that guy $13 million. You've added 5 guys, another tight end, to the offense. Hey, dude, if your offense doesn't pull out of the bottom 10 this year, it'll never will. Say it again. I think Howie addressed everything here. The rest of it's going to come down to players. April 27th. What are we talking about here? These people don't own helmets yet. All right. Here, I'll make this comment too. I think you underdrafted. Lemon. The Stowers kid reminds me kind of Eli, or a cheap man's version of Kyle Pitts. Markeel Bell, I know. Ducks his head a little bit, but got some intangibles. I actually like the kid from Georgia. The Wiznooki kid, we'll see. I think they do, by the way. Marsha, I think they do see probably Reed Blankenship in this dude. And they went and got the world's gym guy, or the Gold's Gym guy from Nigeria. Here's who he is. Say it again. He's Myles Garrett without game tape and without football skills. Now, I don't know what that means. Can they turn him into something? I'll tell you what, if I'm Diego Pavia and I see a guy who never played a down of football and the Eagles drafted me in the 7th round and I'm Diego Pavia, I'm a pissed off guy. So Diego Pavia doesn't get drafted and this guy does. And this guy was a workout warrior at Gold's Gym. That tells you all you need to know about Diego Pavia. All 5'10" of him and a size 9 foot. Like I said, he's got a foot the size of M. Reyes. With all that being said, my man, who was a working dog, he was a warhorse this past weekend. He is my friend, Big Z. Zander Krause joins us now. How you doing, bro?
Big Sills, what's going on, man? How you doing?
How are you doing? By the way, I just saw the Bucks just gave Kalijah Kancey his 50-year option. Holy shit, that guy's missed 22 out of 51 ball games. And they gave him his 50-year option.
Yeah. Did you see, I guess you didn't see, obviously you were on the air, but Schefter was just on with Pat McAfee, I think it was. And he gave update on what he expects the compensation to be for the A.J. Brown trade. And he put it at a first-round pick in 2028.
Okay, well that's changed the room a little bit here. I wonder why
that's pretty far out.
Wonder why.
I would imagine the Patriots don't want to give up their assets in the, right now. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think 27.
How we bite on that?
Maybe he's projecting
change a quarterback.
I don't know. Well, no, I think he's projecting.
Well, if he agrees to that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, does he expect the Patriots to get worse in 28 as compared to 27?
I do. How about this? I don't think they're going to get worse. I think the record's going to get worse.
I don't know, dude. Their record might go down this year with the schedule.
Yeah, it will.
Well, 28 would be after next year.
I know. I don't get the 28 move.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's a first-round pick, so Howie, I'm sure will do something with it. I mean, last time he traded somebody for a first-round pick, he took that first-round pick and turned it into an extra first-round pick. He went from 6 to 12, added a future first-round pick, so he got 2 out of it, really. But so Howie will shake and bake. But I just wanted to give you that update.
Didn't they get Carter and Devontae out of that?
Yeah, they got Devontae. They traded from 6 back to 12, and then they went up from 12 to 10 to get Devontae. So they kept the future pick. When they went from 6 to 12, they got another pick in the next year. So, yeah, they got Carter with that next pick.
All right, bro, give me your takeaway on the entire 2026 91st NFL draft for the Eagles.
I think it was a pretty good draft. I mean, they drafted, obviously, the best players. I thought the drafting of Micah Lemon, he's growing on me super quick. I mean, I was watching some of his tape sales, and I'm not saying he's going to be one of these players. I'm just saying from a skill set standpoint, he reminds me a lot of these newer, smaller-bodied receivers that are winning in the NFL right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the popular name, but even a guy like JSN, like they'll move him all over the place. And I'm not saying he's going to be JSN. I'm just saying move him all over the place. He beats you inside the numbers. He's a great zone beater, as an offensive player. So I thought Lemon was a good pick. I like the Stowers pick. I mean, my problem with Stowers is we're just not a throwing team. I wouldn't care if we were a throwing team. We're not a throwing team. So, I mean, I think that dude is going to be a hell of a pass catcher.
He can't block.
He's got some serious skill, though. So I liked him. Markeel Bell, I liked. I almost wondered if Markeel Bell was – my concern on Markeel Bell was, is he too big? You know, like sometimes if you're too big, you get a little clunky.
He's
like you
bigger.
were saying.
He's bigger than Jordan Mailata.
Right. And you were saying earlier about getting that punch, some of that. So I think that's relevant, but I thought that pick was great. I mean, dudes with those measurables don't fail very often,
No.
Especially with that. His arm length was like,
and they play forever.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I thought that was a pretty good pick. And then, I don't know, the day 3 picks I was a little indifferent on. I mean, I don't care much about them because they haven't made a huge impact on the Eagles.
Now remember, these guys make 30% of your roster up too, I pointed out.
Yeah, which is significant. So I didn't like the quarterback pick. I won't lie. Wasn't my favorite pick at all.
You think they'll use them in short yardage down there, like with goal line, maybe?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe. I actually did like the Georgia pick, the Micah Morris.
Yep.
I mean, that dude's a super athletic interior guard who, doesn't give up a lot of sacks. Now, I don't, who knows what that projects to. And then the 7th rounders, I was a little tough on Cole Wiznooki, and I was telling this story this morning. My dad ripped me. He's like, did you call Wiznooki a Timu Reed Blankenship? That's bullshit. I like Cole Wiznooki. He's going to make the team. I'm like, all right, Krause, relax. So maybe I'll have to eat my words on Cole Wiznooki. And then the Nigerian guys, kind of just a project for the future, an exciting one, but we'll see about that one.
He's Myles Garrett without game tape.
Which means he's not Myles Garrett.
Well, I don't know what they're looking at. I mean, they're looking at his measurables.
He was a 251st pick. I mean, it's not that big of a deal one way or the other.
Where was
I think Eli Sters will be as good as Cobb.
Where was Maro Jomo taken?
7th round. But he had game tape.
He did. Okay, so for me, holy shit, I haven't even grabbed my topic page yet. Okay, so for me, I mean, here's where I like what Howie did. The picks, in my opinion, on April 27th, I don't fucking know. But what I do know is this. Wideout, yes, there's a need because AJ. Tight end, there's a need, especially if you're going more pass catching. Offensive line depth, you need to do something there. By the way, a 3rd rounder, Tyler Steen was a 3rd rounder, and he's starting for you. The quarterback is the one that I don't get, but hey, still, quarterback again, depending on what you're doing with Tanner McKee. The guard, you need more interior offensive line.
See, I don't like that. I don't want to get rid of Tanner McKee for him. That's stupid. Sorry,
you picking his option up then?
Maybe people will say I'm off base, but am I bad for wanting the quarterbacks that the Eagles draft to have the skill set of a quarterback? Like, if I hear the first thing that's good about a quarterback, and you've been saying this for so long, but if I hear the first thing that's good about a quarterback and it has nothing to do with his ability to process or throw the football, I'm really not all that interested. Like, what is up with this whole thing of like, we now prioritize the main position of the quarterback to be like something that's not related to being a quarterback. That would be like saying, I want my running back to be good at blocking first. No, it's like an additional thing that's good. You want your running back to be able to run the football. You want your wide receivers to be able to get open and catch the football. I want my quarterback to be able to process a defense and throw the ball on time and on target. So I'm not a big fan of the Cole Payton pick.
See, to me, it's, when I see a pick like that, I'm like, where are you going with it, man? I mean, he's left-handed. He has no intangibles. Even his pluses don't sound. Anyway, I don't think he's the future of your football team. Who do you think makes a bigger impact this coming season? Jonathan Gernard or Micah Lemon?
Gernard. I think he's going to make a big impact because I think this is a great organization for him. I'm not sure if you caught any of his press conference on Saturday. I know you were working, but he just sounds like the adult in the room. Like, Sills, me and you, something you've brought up here, and which is fair. It's like they got rid of a lot of veteran guys on that defense, and they're relying on a lot of youth talent and youth leadership. Zach Bond is really like the most veteran leader on the defense right now, and he's got 2 years of playing.
Let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you're a rookie guy and you come into that locker room, I'm going to show you right here pretending. You got to watch me here. So when I'm sitting in my locker, guys, and I'm looking down and I'm in my locker, do you know what I'm doing? Zander, I look over and I go, man, look at Brandon Graham, what he's doing. Brandon Graham's it's 3:15. He's getting his taping. It's 3:24. He's getting Vaselined up on his arms to make sure that they don't pull and rip him. Okay. He puts his shoulder pads on at 3:45. And he does that every day. And you're watching that as a player sitting in your locker.
Very true.
And you're just watching that guy going, I need to get that routine that he's doing too. And you build your routine by watching the veterans. They don't even have to say a fucking word.
I know. It's such a good point. And I think this team needs some of that, you know?
I do too.
So I'm telling you right now, Jonathan Gernard's press conference was impressive. It doesn't mean he's going to be a great player, but
no, he is. No.
He's been a good player.
No,
he's clearly
I
a
disagree.
disciplined, smart dude. Some of his answers, I mean, even his answer, like he went off the cuff a little bit about like parenting, like he's got 2 kids. And like just the stuff he said, I'm like, that's a mature dude. Like that's a dude who has his ducks in a row. He's got his house in order. He understands. Like those are people you want in the building that teach these young guys. So I'm super high on Jonathan Gernard. Before they made the move, I was questionable on it, but now that they've done it, I think the compensation was worth it, and I think he's going to make a big impact on the squad.
I just don't think that this was a really rich draft.
I mean, you asked me who I think has a bigger impact, him or Lemon, and it's like, how can I pick Lemon? Like, think about it. Like, our offense hasn't even been the main part of our team, especially receivers, for the last 2 years. You're talking about
as a unit,
but also individually. I mean, it hasn't been, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown have had good years, but they have not been the number one thing that the Eagles are winning games with. It's been the run game. It's been the defense.
That's right.
So it's hard for me to pick a receiver right now until I see a little bit about what they're trying to do and whether they're able to accomplish it.
So you've added Micah Lemon. You've added Elijah Moore. You've added Eli Sters. You've added Hollywood Brown, Dontavian Wicks.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to give Jalen Hurts.
Well, dude, there's only one football, and like unless you're of the belief that they should start, even if they change the schematic approach, right? Even if we live in a world where they change the scheme, how many times do you guys like? And I don't say this as a critique of Jalen, because I think this should be true for most quarterbacks. How many times over 30 do you want a quarterback throwing the football? Like if you're throwing the ball 40 times a game, you're either have no run game or you are behind in every game. So, like, I think 30 is the sweet spot even for guys like Matthew Stafford, because that means you got a good balanced attack. You're winning probably most of your games, or you can close out games at the end. So, like, with all that being said, even if a schematic change is in order and it works, I still don't want him throwing the ball more than 30 times a game, really. Not more than 35, but he's not a passer, so I'd say 30, So there's only one ball. Like, we're not getting all these dudes involved, dude. I do think Lemon will have a good year, but we'll see.
How much of an impact is the loss of A.J. Brown to your new, even with all these players?
Well, I think they've done a good job at lessening it, but I think where fans are overlooking is it's not just
his presence.
Exactly. It's not just like, all right, we got playmakers in the building. Now we can make up for those 1,500 yards you got. It's not really it. Like, cornerback 2 becomes cornerback 1 on Devontae Smith, right? Everything ticks up a notch. The emphasis on Saquon Barkley can return, the emphasis on Devontae Smith, the emphasis on Jalen Hurts. Everything ticks up a notch, and that's going to make it a little bit harder for everybody. So not only do you need young guys to perform, but I need Devontae Smith to be a better football player than he has been. He's been a good player. We need him to become a great player.
Okay.
We need Dallas Goedert to have the best year he's had in a couple of years as an aging player. We need Eli Sters to come in as a polished rookie. We need Micah Lemon to play up to par. We need Dontavian Wicks to not be a 300-yard guy.
You know what I would tell you if I was A.J. Brown? Well, utilize me better.
Well, I agree, but he's going to be gone, dude. That ship has sailed.
No. What I'm saying is you need to, not hold me. Dude, that's a guy that moved all over Alabama. He was all over the fucking
I know.
field.
I don't know why they don't do that, dude. Especially with
It's
Smitty.
because of AJ.
I don't know if it
AJ
is,
can't be
dude.
playing, and a quarterback.
I mean,
More
we've gotten 4 or 5 reports, Sileo, in the last 4 years. And I'm not saying you don't have to believe them. I believe them, but you don't have to. Not you, anybody listening. 4 or 5 reports, the quarterback doesn't like motion.
He doesn't.
So if you don't like motion, you're not going to move Devontae Smith all over the place. I mean, how many times do you watch Puka Nacua go in motion pre-snap? Even
James
Jordan
Smith.
Pickens line. All these dudes go in motion all over the place. If they're not running motion, it's going to significantly limit how much a receiver is moving pre-snap, obviously. So I mean, those are, I don't know. Is that coaching? Is that what Jalen likes? Which obviously you're going to build an offense around what the quarterback likes. So I don't know. I'm a little indifferent on that one.
How do you think Howie's doing in the offseason?
I think he had a good weekend. I mean, I think, like, I'll ask you because you were tough on this and I understand why, but you were like, where's your edge rusher? You let Jalen, and you were asking, where's the replacement for AJ? I think they've addressed it. Now,
Yes.
I don't think that means it's perfect, but I think both of those things, I actually think they got better at the edge. I think Gernard's going to be a better player than Phillips was. He's been a better player. I was never all that enamored with Phillips. I thought he was a good player, not a great player. And then now with AJ Brown, I think you are losing more than you're gaining there. But at the very least, I mean, you do have a litany of pass catchers where if Dontavian Wicks doesn't work out, you do have Hollywood Brown, you have Micah Lemon, you have Eli Sters, you have guys who can catch the football, presumably. So I think they've done a pretty good job at addressing some of the biggest concerns. Safety seems to be kind of falling into one of those positions in Philly where it's just not going to be the most valued thing. And it makes sense.
Safety and right guard look to me to be the places that they replace. Right?
And does that make sense when you got $45 million guys on the defensive line and all? You know what I mean? You got dudes that are really expensive on the O-line and D-line. So I'd always rather prefer the trenches or build the trenches. So I can't hate on that one, but I'm curious to see what Howie does.
What's your favorite pick?
Favorite pick? I guess it's a cop-out to go Micah. I like Micah the most as a player. I really like Stowers. My concern with him is just his offense. I mean, I think if he were in an offense that was
You agree with me? They got to play him like Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, but they don't really use tight ends like that. They at least they haven't. Now, maybe they will in the new scheme, but so I thought I like Stowers a lot. I'm just concerned on the use case here in Philly until we see what Sean Mannion does. 6, I liked Michael Morris. Didn't like the quarterback pick. I'm going to go Lemon. I'm going to go Lemon and Stowers.
You think Gernard's the move of the offseason?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're talking about a team that's been defensive, and you added a great pass rusher to a team, too. I think what it was already a pretty good defense. I mean, I know you lost Phillips. You just replaced him. You lost Nakobe Dean, but you do have a first-round pick in the queue. You lost Reed Blankenship. That's probably the one big question mark. But if we're calling a spade, last year wasn't really Reed Blankenship's best year of football. Now, it's not to say he was a stiff, and I think he was making up for, obviously, Makuba, who was a rookie next to him, and even Adoree Jackson at times. But I think they're fine there. And then I thought they got better at corner, too.
So you think they got better at corner and edge?
Yeah. And I think linebacker is probably a little worse with a bigger upside, though. And then safety, I think you got a little worse. But, I mean, I'm also factoring in, like, do you think Moro Ojomo is going to keep developing and getting better? He's not reached his peak yet, right?
No way.
So, I mean, I'm hoping he's
had limited snaps.
I think I'm hoping Carter has a bounce back year. He didn't have a great year last year. And then Davis, obviously, with the big contract, is going to have to take a step forward. So, I think the defense going to be just fine.
You think Bond's the next guy out?
After this season, potentially. Yep. I mean, they signed a 3-year deal. Most of those deals for the Eagles have been out after 2 years. They have a first-round pick in there with Jahad Campbell. They do have, Mundin and some other dudes on the bench, Trotter. It's hard to think about that right now, Sills, but I think that's probably realistic in the future, yeah.
So you're getting away from being a dominant team at the point of attack. Now, do you not agree with me? John said this guy Mannion was brought in to improve the run game. How's that possible when you signed all these guys and drafted all these guys to tell me you're trying to improve the run game, Zander?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, right, dude?
Not, I mean,
unless you're like John said this morning, John said this because you just asked me, is it the move of the offseason? So I think John stole this from me because I said it last week, but that's all right. I'll give him the credit for it. He said, Gernard is the second best or the second most important move of the offseason. The first most important move is what? Stem cells and Medellin. It's either going to work or it's not, and the season could hinge on that. So, dude, they're relying on that. Literally, they're relying on those guys playing better and being healthier. That's what it comes down to.
Don't you agree, though? Also, they're relying on Jalen to be a different football player.
Yes. In fact, that's a great question. I want to write that down and ask John.
They're relying on him to be a completely different football player than he's ever been in Philly. Do you not agree with that?
I agree.
All the shit and all the success. And get this, folks. I don't think you do. And you said this before too. I don't think Nick does. But somebody wants this guy to be a different dude. I don't want him to be a different guy either. 50 and 18. But somebody, you don't bring all these guys in and use the number one draft choice. They sit there and say, let's run the fucking football 38 times.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. I do. I just don't know. Like, is John right? Like, John's whole thing is, you're right. But when it comes time to win a game on Sunday and they're not able to play offense like they think they're going to play offense on April 27th.
Where they address the run game in the offseason so far? Where do you think they've addressed the run game?
They haven't, but where could they? I've been saying this for months. Where could they?
Okay. So then what they're doing is, you know what? You said
Wait,
this.
no, answer that question. Can you? Where would they?
No, you got to hope on health.
Right. So I don't think Howie didn't address it. I just don't think there's anything to do.
They're doing window dressing from the perimeter.
Howie paid for the flight to Medellin.
Bro, they're making the outside of the car with a nice paint job look good with wide receivers. And when the engine inside has not been overhauled and it's the same engine coming back, you got the same engine in the same car, bro.
Pistons aren't firing, man. The Pistons aren't firing.
All you have is a good paint job. I mean, you haven't improved the run game.
Yeah, you know where cars go with good paint jobs, but no engine.
To the fucking metal shop.
To the dump, baby. To the scrap heap.
Yeah, to the scrap heap, man. That's where they go, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you.
Well, look, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think there are people out there who think that Jalen's capable of doing it, and that's fine. But they should understand that, yes, what you said is correct. I mean, they're relying on Hurts to be a different player than he's ever been for the team to have success. So it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting year from that perspective, dude. Just kind of watch them, what it looks like.
I'm going to give you my takeaway on the Cowboys and tell me if you agree or disagree. You know, you look at Malachi Lawrence, the kid they got from UCF. I told you could have got him in the second round. I still think it's a need that they had to address because of getting rid of Micah Parsons. When you put his tape on, he's a good player. I don't think they play a lofty enough schedule to get a great assessment of the guy, and they needed help there. The kid's a good player. He's explosive. However, again, I think drafting him with your second number one, I think that kind of hurt them a little bit. However, I don't mind the pick. I don't mind the player. I mind the pick and where you got him. So I think that's still a good pick. Guard they got in the fourth, Drew Slanton, I don't believe. I think that was a reach. I think the guy was more of a 6th or 7th round draft choice. I think the Cowboys' first 3 picks, when you got Caleb Downs and you ended up getting that Barham kid, I got to tell you, man, I think the Cowboys really had a good 3 days.
I thought they had a good 3 days. I did not think that their second pick in the first round was great.
Yeah, but again, I think he's a good player. I just don't like where.
Yeah, it's more right. It's more about this draft, I guess. I guess what you're saying.
Yeah. And it just, to me, you know, where I see him, I'm like, you know, but the Cowboys offseason has been pretty good so far. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I think it's been all right. I mean, I think it's been good. I mean, I think Caleb Downs was probably the best pick of the NFL draft at what was it, 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 11 overall. I mean, that's a pretty damn good pick there. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's all right. But look, I got to see it for them. I mean, I don't, the only thing I disagree with most Eagle fans about when it comes to the Cowboys is they think it's all Dak. I don't think Dak is even in the top 5 of problems in Dallas, but I know they all do. So that's where we disagree. That's where most Eagle fans get mad at me. But I just don't think Dak's a bad player. I don't think you can have as much success as Dak has had and be considered a bad player. But he's got to play big in big moments. That defense is going to have to be a lot better. I think Caleb Downs, to me, is the easiest player in the draft to look at and say, year one, that team is better. I don't even know that I feel that about David Bailey. I don't even know that I feel that about Arvell Reese or Jeremiah Love or Carnell Tate. I look at Caleb Downs and say, instantly, their secondary is better. Instantly. I don't even need to see the guy play an NFL snap. He's the only guy in the draft I felt that about.
I'll tell you what I do love what Washington did. So you end up getting Sonny Styles, right? He's
Giants,
playing next to Bobby Wagner.
Oh no, not Giants. Sorry, they got Arvell Reese. Yeah, I keep mixing them up. Yeah, Commanders got Sonny. It's a good pick.
They got Sonny Styles, and he's going to get to learn and absorb.
A little high though for an off ball, dude.
Man, is he good? But dude, I think he's a second.
I know he's a good player
in the draft. I love him.
I like him too. He's a hell of a football player. I think Eagles are going to be dealing with him for a long time.
The New York Giants, getting Colton Hood in the second round, I thought was a good move.
They got jumped there in the second round, Sills.
What's that?
They got jumped in the second round. They wanted Caden McDonald. Caden McDonald would run tougher.
They still needed a corner.
Remember, though, who traded up to grab Caden McDonald? Somebody traded up right ahead of the Giants pick. Who was it? Do you know?
I forget who did that.
I'll pull it up.
Was it Pittsburgh? Dude, I forget who traded up. He's a good player, though, the kid Hood, man.
He is. No, he's a good player. I actually think he's a great player. I think it's a great pick. But I'm looking at round 2. Yeah, the Texans traded up. They traded up with Vegas, and they grabbed Caden McDonald right before the Giants. And he's a run stuffer. And remember, they just traded away Dexter Lawrence. So I think they wanted Caden McDonald.
So they get Reese, they get Francis, and they get Hood. I think the Giants have had a heck. Now, look, the Giants had so much and so far to go. I think they just had really a long way to go.
I mean, dude, those are potential 3 starters.
Yes. Yeah. Now, will that translate to wins?
You know what Vic Fangio says, right? Every rookie starting is minus a win. So take one win off the record. So I mean, those guys have to prove themselves, but we'll see.
Bro, when you're a rookie, your head's on a swivel. You don't know what the fuck's going on. I'll tell you who I think had the best draft. This may sound crazy, but dude, I think the Kansas City Chiefs had a great draft.
Yeah, they did.
Man, I mean, getting the kid Thomas.
Yep, Mason Thomas, that dude. Yep.
I mean, you got Peter Woods, who potentially could be the guy who could replace Chris Jones.
Yep.
You got the LSU kid. The only reason, did you draft that kid and the things you gave up to get him, I thought was a little rich, but you moved up so you got rid of Trent McDuffie to get cheaper so you could be more balanced. That's such a risk to move up.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you have to do, though. I mean,
I get it. I get it because
Delane's going to be good, I think. I thought it was a little high for Delane to go at 7 or 6, wherever he went. 6, I think it was. But I think he's going to be a good player. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, when you're in the middle of the draft or the Monday after the draft, as we stand today, it's really easy to be like, oh, guy went too high or too low. But at the end of the day, if Mansour Delane can play, nobody's going to give a shit that he was drafted at 6 versus 9 or 7 or 8 or whatever. You know what I mean? So, We'll see how these players pan out.
If you want to do the traditional grade thing, what would you give your Eagles?
I think I think I'm gonna curve it to a B plus. I think I more lean B because I didn't love day 3. I didn't love the quarterback pick. I liked Morris. I've been convinced a little bit on Wiznooki by my dad and McMullen, and I just didn't love day 3. So I thought B, but I think Lemon and Stowers are 2 really strong players. I thought the trade of Gernard is a huge move there. And then Markeel Bell, who I believe honestly has a chance to be a replacement for Lane Johnson. I don't know if he will be, but I think he's got a chance to be. So I thought that was a good and worthy pick in round 3.
Bell's going to replace Fred first.
You think this year?
I think he's going to split reps with him.
Maybe, yeah. I'd be curious to see if Lane misses games, who goes in.
They'll probably put Fred in first.
Well, we'll see. I mean, if Bell is a great camp, maybe not. I am with you on, like I said the same thing you said on your show today. Literally, I said the same thing to myself under my breath when I was watching the draft. When they drafted Markeel Bell, I said, man, I wish they had Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah. Because if you watch Baldy's tape on him, he does this, Zander. And he did this all year. And I kept telling Mario, the fucking guy needs to keep his head back. He does this when he gets engaged. Bro, Aiden Hutchinson would put that arm right over his ass and he's
I know. And dude, that, the best part about that, like you were saying earlier, is that's stuff that can be taught. You know what I mean? Like that's development. That is what player development is. It's not like he's lacking the skills or the size or the traits or the athleticism or any of those things. So I think they're in a pretty good spot.
I think the kid Morris, when you read his stuff,
dude,
his
stuff
is coachable shit. His stuff's all coachable.
My question with him is this, dude. How do you start a full year at left guard at Georgia, play 5 games the year prior at Georgia, start 19 games, not give up any sacks, have a 9.97 on your RAS score, relative athletic score, which is basically just, a score that combines everything but shows you're super athletic, and you're in the 6th round? Like, where's the red flag? There must be one somewhere. How the hell do you start at Georgia every week, don't give up a sack, and you go in the 6th round?
You know why? Sometimes you're playing next to really fucking great guys, and they make you look lesser until they get you in a camp, and they go like this. Like Moro Jomo was playing on. Didn't he play at A&M or Texas?
Who?
Jomo played at Texas.
Texas,
right?
Not Texas A&M.
Yeah, he was at Texas, right? No, he's Texas.
Yeah, he was Texas.
He played at Texas. There were some pretty good fucking players there.
Yeah, there was.
Okay, and sometimes you just got, like, you think Francis gobbled up a little bit of Bell on what people would have thought of Bell if Francis was there?
Probably.
Same thing with Akeem Essador. Akeem Essador, people forget, had more sacks than Bain this last year.
Yeah, right, because of Bain, though, he got swallowed up a little bit.
Yeah, so it happens when you're on these good teams. By the way, did you see the 2 most impressive numbers coming out of the draft?
What's that?
So, you know how many players are drafted, right? 257.
Yeah, 257, yep.
155 players combined came from the Big Ten and SEC.
Holy moly. 155 out of 270 from 2 conferences.
Here, let me hear. 87 from the SEC and 7 number ones.
For those who like the middle class, I hate to tell you, but this is going one direction here.
Watch this. In Big Ten, 68 players and 10 ones. So think of this. 32 first-round draft picks. 17 were first-rounders coming out of both those 2 conferences. And 155 of the 257 players drafted came out of the SEC and Big Ten. Homie, if you ain't playing in those 2 conferences moving forward, I have no interest in fucking recruiting you. Oh,
so
shit.
the big So
Bama
the Big
had
Five,
10.
remember, it used to be called what, like the Power Five?
It is Power 5, yeah.
Yeah. It's becoming what, the Power Three? I mean, you got SEC, you got Big Ten, and then
ACC.
and then it's a split between ACC and Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, I would bet on a them converging
Merging
to some
Big
extent.
12 and ACC.
Yep.
And making
or even Big Ten taking some of them to try and catch the SEC.
Yeah. Well, I think they've caught them. Well, no.
Well, right now the best school comes from the Big Ten. Ohio State's right now, the number one college football program is Ohio State right now.
But I would say this to you too. They won 4 straight national titles with 4 different teams in the Big Ten. It's pretty impressive, bro.
Yeah, Big Ten, you gotta give them their props. They're on fire.
However, if you're still a prospect, almost 90 guys came out of the fucking SEC. Bro, that means if you go to Ole Miss or you go to Mississippi State, the chances of you being drafted are exceptionally high. Man, Zander, 102 guys take the rest of the pie?
Yeah, well, it's all condensing, Sills. It's all consolidating into power is consolidating, my friend.
How about this number?
It's happening in the world too. You guys got to work your ass off to get above it, or else you're going to get gobbled up.
How about this one too? You ready? Bill Belichick and Deion Sanders didn't have one player drafted out of North Carolina or Colorado.
Is that right? Not one UNC guy?
Nope.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Why did Bill Belichick go there?
But Deion didn't have one either.
Do you think he just did it because of that check? Like it didn't even make sense when he did it.
I think he did it because he was butthurt and he wanted to still coach and he wanted to show people he can coach.
You couldn't have went somewhere better than UNC?
I don't. Hey, they're paying him $10 million.
Well, maybe that's what it was about. Maybe his new sugar mama cost him 10.
Hey, you know, man, when you got a 22-year-old chick, man, she likes to go to Disney World and get on that teacup ride.
Disney World. Do we have any listeners who, I'm sorry if you're a Disney person and you're listening, but I'm going to roast the shit out of you right now. I see these grown adults who have like no kids who go to Disney World. Like there's this dude I know, and I'm not going to say his name, but Sills, you know who this person is. All right. And they work at one of our old sponsors. Name starts with a Z.
Okay.
No kids. Him and his wife go to Disney World. Not once, twice a year. I'm like, bro, what? You get 2 weeks off and you're going to Disney World twice? I haven't been to my parents took us to Disney World when I was, 5 years old. My sister lives right near there. Her sister worked at Universal, so she got us tickets. We went one time in my life. My mom and dad said, all right, hope you guys enjoy Disney. We're never going back. That's it.
We've been to Disney probably. How many times do you think we've been to Disney, Cam? I would say 100 times.
What?
Yeah.
But so I'm roasting you. I'm on the show roasting you.
But it was free because we had deals with iHeart and they had promotions.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm going for food, bro. I'm not going.
Yeah, that's different.
You know the only reason I went to teacup rides? Because it's fucking 99 degrees and it's humidity.
I'm simply roasting adults who don't.
No.
And they're like vacationing at Disney.
No, that's not happening. They would get this, Zander. They would put me up in like these great hotels. Everything was paid for. Everything was free. So that's the only reason we went. And
I do like roller coasters. I'm a roller coaster guy.
Kim loves roller coasters. But then again, get this. When Dee Dee came along, that's when we started taking her there. Not me, though, dude. No way. By the way,
Dee Dee was alive when you lived in Florida, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We lived in Orlando.
For how long? Of Dee Dee's life? Like 8 years?
10 years, 12
years. 10 years? Nice. I didn't realize she grew up there like when she was super young.
We had free passes from iHeart.
Yeah, well, my sister lives. You know where my sister lives?
$100 a piece now.
You know where my oldest sister lives? She lives in, Windermere is?
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. She got money then.
Well, they both work for Lockheed Martin, her and her husband.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, Windermere that's where Tiger lived.
Yeah, it's badass. It's cool.
Tiger, listen, I played that golf course too, Windermere Country Club.
Yeah, it's cool.
Let me tell you this, dude. So Tiger lived in Windermere, then he moved to Jupiter.
Jupiter, that's where I want to go. I want to go to Jupe.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to Jupe, especially in the off season, bro.
Okay, so the biggest. Thank you, Steve. The biggest.
Hey.
That's my boy. All right, Zander. So the biggest storyline going into camp is Jalen Hurts, correct?
Yeah, it's the new offense. I think more so than Jalen Hurts.
Are you more concerned with Mannion or Jalen?
What a trick question. Mannion, he's never called a play in his life. But if they're really running what they're running, I don't know. If you gave me some truth serum, maybe I'd give you a different answer, but it is what it is.
Look at him. He went with he went there.
Right, so John was telling me about this this hate mail he got today. It was one of the greatest all-time pieces of hate mail I've ever seen in my life was sent to John McMullen on Friday. Me and you were both referenced in the hate mail. It was hilarious. John forwarded me the email. It's fucking hilarious. You would love it. I'll send you some of it.
What's it about?
It's 9 paragraphs. I'm not going to read.
Oh no. But give me the context of it.
The context. What do you mean? It's Jalen Hurts. It's all about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Is it, dude? It said we hate him.
It's John is a biased reporter on Jalen. I'm like, first off, he's like the least biased person ever. But John and then him and you are influencing me, and I can't be a Christian because I talk about Jalen Hurts passing the ball and like we're racist and all these things. I'm like, this is an iconic piece of hate mail here. John said he's hanging it in the Louvre. It's like a top 10 piece of hate mail.
Oh my God.
9 paragraphs deep, baby.
What'd you make of the draft coverage?
You mean from like the network and ESPN?
Yeah, TV. Did you like it? I thought ESPN was all over the board, man.
Yeah, they were. I thought the NFL Network was a little better, especially in the later days. I don't know. I'm not huge on the TV coverage, dude. Like I was watching the one dudes on NFL Network. I forget who it was. Dan. What's that guy's name? The Penn State guy.
Was it the guy from Fox?
Penn State. No, the Penn State guy. I'm blanking on his name. I thought him. I didn't think they did it. I thought they were just all, like you said. I thought they were all over the map a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Mel Kiper again. I thought, seeing Mel there, Mel really has been a centerpiece of that draft, and really has. I loved it when Howard Balzer was the one that recommended him, and he was the one that recommended him here. I thought Mike Greenberg was terrible. I'd like to see Chris Berman back. Would you make a Mendoza go number 1 overall?
I mean, we were prepared for it at this point, but
yeah, but doesn't that tell you? Because when you look at that, I don't think Fernando Mendoza. Do you think he's a generational looking talent?
Not even close. I mean, there was. I could understand people pushing back on Caleb Williams being a number 1 overall pick, and Caleb Williams Fernando Mendoza is not in the same ballpark as him in terms of talent and skill set. He might have a better NFL career. I don't know, but like Caleb Williams has sick arm talent, like fucking sick arm talent. I don't see anything with Mendoza. So I don't know. I mean, look, I hope he has a good career. I like the guy. I do. I like him. I want him to succeed. I do.
Do you think that having A.J. Brown around the organization right now is good or bad?
A.J. Brown around the organization?
Still on the team.
I don't think he's like that much of a can. I feel like people are like making him out. Like I saw someone comment, "Get that cancer out of the locker room. He's making everything worse," or something. I'm like, dude, you guys are so obnoxious. Somebody picks what they want to think or who they think is the villain. And then they just concoct these narratives that A.J. Brown, they won a fucking Super Bowl 18 months ago, you numbnuts. A.J. Brown was on the team. Did he blow up the locker room that year? I mean, come on. Like, all right, has it reached its end? Yeah, it has. But, I mean, if he's there, no, I don't think it's going to stop them from being successful. Never stopped them before. Why? It's going to stop now?
You think it's an indictment on Hurts that he wants out of here?
To some extent. I mean, if
more on Nick or more on Jalen, more on Nick, more on Jalen, or
I mean, it's more on the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback's got to throw the football to him, but he did for the first couple of years. So I guess people would say, the schematic change and Saquon showing up would be a bigger reason. But, I don't know. I don't dislike AJ. I think he handled some of it wrong. But look, he spoke up about an offense that was underperforming. Me and you spoke about it. What's the
Yeah.
difference? I mean, I get it. He's on the team, so he's got to be held to a different standard. But yeah, I mean, he said things that we all knew, and that even the biggest Jalenites and fans know because they have two eyes, and they might lie to themselves when they look in the mirror. You know, it's like the actually I won't say that. I'll get myself canceled. I was gonna say it's like the people who look in the mirror and tell themselves they're something that they're not. You know, you are a cat. No, you're not. Even if you think you are, you're not. So, no, I don't think it's a problem if he's there.
All right,
But he's gonna be gone.
I think my guy is at Valentine's, if I'm not mistaken here.
Where's that, in Stanford?
Yeah, in Stanford. Bobby
Nice.
V's, man. This is a dope play. By the way, Bobby Valentine had 300 offers to play college football. USC, Tennessee. I mean, dude, Bobby V was asked to take over for OJ at Southern Cal.
Gary's probably pumped. We drafted a Southern Cal dude, first round pick.
Absolutely, he did.
Wait, let me read. We only got a couple supers. Let me rip them before you get to Gary. All right, Khaled says, I think Morris will be a force at guard, Pro Bowler. That's a big projection, but I like him.
I do too.
Tierra B says, Cowboys got Lawrence at 20 because of no second round pick. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. They traded back with the Birds at 20 to get him at 23. So that's fine. Khaled again says, any scheme you throw at Hurts, he still can't throw, especially over the middle. Teams are going to focus outside the hash and stack the box. Hurts his buns. He's not buns.
No, he's not.
Kyle says, last one here. Kyle says, Sills, would you say after Hurts, Barkley is the next guy out the door? They're going to want a back like Jacobs that can catch out of the backfield.
Yes. Especially if they stick with this offense.
Yeah, but I think it's more about Barkley's age. I mean, running backs don't really stay past 30. You know what I mean? So I think it's more about that. All right, Sills, good show, man. Good show.
Hey, bro, I appreciate you very much. Way to keep working your ass off this past week.
Yeah, I got to get my voice back. You hear it? I got no inflection in my voice.
Man. Way to go here. We got one more before we get to G Cobb.
Pickens didn't sign his franchise tag like Schefter said pre-draft.
Yeah, well, again, Cowboys are not going to give that guy
and Cowboys have the leverage.
Extension. They're not doing
Cowboys have the leverage. I mean, he can't. If he sits out a year, he's going to hurt his own stock.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, you don't get paid. Nobody does that. Big Z, we'll see you in the morning.
Later, dude. Appreciate it.
Love you, brother. All right, man. That's my boy, man. Really appreciate it. Gary Cobb right now is at a place that I used to go to when I was a kid. And I just text Bobby V. I'm going to have him see if we can bring some grub over to him. And have people bring him some grub over, man. I hung out at this place my entire young life when I lived in Stanford. Valentine was the first big-time superstar out of Stanford. Well, Andy Robustelli probably. And then it was Bobby V. And then football-wise, it was G Cobb, dude. And then we all followed. Dave Pizzulli, myself, Tony Brown. There were a couple guys that followed after Gary. And, when G Cobb went, we all went like this, man. That's cool because people from SC started coming up to Stanford. And without further ado, our man from Fox 29, he's in our hometown, Stanford, Connecticut. My friend, Gary Cobb joins us right now. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Doing great. All well.
I love that place you're at, man. It's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, well, I had to come up here this weekend. Mom's 92nd birthday.
Wait, are all the Cobbs in town?
Well, not all of them, but we had a good group that came in and everything, and then we did a thing. We're on Zoom so that everybody around the country, the family around the country could celebrate her 92nd birthday. So that's a long time.
Did Ernie come in?
No, Ernie didn't come in. Ernie's out in
Arizona.
He's out in Arizona. He's in Arizona and stuff.
Yeah.
But he'll be coming in later on. We're going to we got a basketball coach that is going to get some stuff this in June, and Ernie's going to come in for that and everything. But
Stanford
good
High?
time,
Stanford
What's
High?
that?
You're going to do some stuff for Stanford High?
Yeah, do some stuff for Stanford High. Yep.
Oh my God, that's great. All right, G Cobb, what'd you make of your boy? You get a Trojan in the house now. You got Makai Lemon in the house. What do you make of it?
Well, I met him. I went over there and talked to him a little bit. He's a fighter. He's a wide receiver who's got a lot of toughness. and he knows the game, and so I think he's going to be a guy who's going to come in. I think he's going to do well because he's smart. You can tell he's a professional, and he probably came a professional early, at USC, so he become a professional. Well, we used to joke like that, but now everybody.
Now it's on the table. Now before,
everybody.
Hey, Gary, it was under here before, and now it's up here. It's all good, right?
Everybody's getting paid now, but anyway, yeah. So, but this kid is tough, and he's smart, and I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to fit right into what they want to do, and you can see he has a kind of professionalism about him that he's going to be able to do well on the pro level because he's smart and he prepares for everything he does. Your kid's sitting there asking questions and listening, which is something you got to do. You come into the league, some guys come in and they're talking and they're not listening. You listen, see what's going on, listen to other people that have been through it. And he's doing that. And I think he's going to do well. I do.
How important is it to go to a place like Southern Cal and you're coached by a guy like Lincoln Riley who understands pro concepts?
Yeah.
So that when you come in, because I'll tell you, Gary, for me, and I don't know for you, but when you come in from the college ranks and you go into the NFL and you're going to a different system, it's like learning Portuguese.
Yes,
and I
right.
mean, but having a little bit of the understanding that you were in a pro style, how much did that benefit him coming in, especially when they're trying to change the offense?
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, you can't really put enough of to say that the value of it, it's just huge because you come in and you got a sense of confidence because you start seeing, things the other guys don't know, and some guys keep making the same mistake, and the coach is chewing them out in the film in the evening. But he's going, okay, hey, good job, Cobb. Hey, good adjustment, because you've been through that. And then you also been with smart coaches, but tough coaches too, who say, look, we do things the right way here. We know how to play the game. We play the game smart. And that's the kind of things that he's going to be getting, because he had that type of coaching. So that's huge on the pro level. And, the thing, the guy he's got to gain confidence from is Jalen, And so right away, when he gets the confidence where he knows the guy's where he's supposed to be all the time, he's not even looking over. He's going him with the ball. So you got to gain that confidence from the quarterback. So that's one of the things he's going to be able to do. And then I could see the way he's flowing in. He knows about being a member of a teammate, and not we're just trying to do everything on your own. Because if you're doing well, if you're doing your job, yours is going to come. But, you want to be a teammate. You want to be finding ways to win. It's about winning. That's what, you want more and more guys on the team that they're talking about winning, man. If somebody comes to ask them, look, I don't care what happened, this, that, and we got the W. We're looking to get the W every week. And that's what it's about. And I think he's another guy like that.
How about this, Gary? Look at these names now. So you get Micah Lemon in the first.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about this kid, Eli Sters, here in a second. They got Elijah Moore. They got Hollywood Brown. They got Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's clearly an emphasis right now, in your opinion, to really evolve this passing game because these are all new weapons that, that they're adding to the mix for the new offensive coordinator here. This is not more of a statement here that they really are trying to evolve the passing game.
I think it definitely is. And I think that what you've got there is, you got a new offensive coordinator coming in. And so they want guys that are going to come in and do what he tells them to do. It's not just about, and I want to just take all shots at AJ, but look, it's not about you catching the ball every play. You go out and do your job. Now, we're going to get the ball to you. You got to be doing your job. This is a team sport, and with running the routes and blocking, all those types of things, that's what we need because we want to be winning, and we want to make plays when we got to make them. And that whole mentality is something that they want to They're emphasizing. That's the essence of what it's about. It's finding ways to win, playing team ball. We want everybody aboard. And when we get W's, we want people, hey, celebrating W. I don't care if you didn't catch a ball. You celebrate. Come on, man. You're not gonna have a record-setting day every week, but let's get the W and let's be together. That's what it's about. And that's what winning is in the NFL.
What do you make of? So let's get first before I get into the players. What'd you make of the draft? And they went wideout. They went tight end.
Yep.
They went OT. The quarterback kid, I don't get a little bit, but I understand. I mean, I get it. Guard.
Yep.
Safety. And then they went with the Nigerian kid, kind of thinking in the same light of maybe a Jordan Mailata kind of thing here a little
That's
bit.
right.
What did you make of the overall draft? Looks like he addressed needs at least, right?
Yeah. Well, they do their homework. That's the thing about, how he does his homework. He's got the guys that are ready when they're picking, and they know what other teams are going to do. And, he's out getting information. But the thing I see is knew they were going to get an offensive tackle. I mean, it's not a surprise. Now, he is somewhat of a, he's not going to be ready right now.
Yep.
You expect him, they would like him to be ready next year, where he's ready. So they're going to be pushing him, but they see the talent there. See, that's the thing is they see the potential that's there. And also, with the tight end, he's outstanding when it comes to catching the ball, but they're going to say, hey, look, you know what? Blocking is a part of the game too, So they're going to work with him on that. Quarterback, they think they can develop him, and quarterbacks are valuable. And if you got a quarterback that can be developed, eventually you got value there. So if you're going to trade,
do you think they're going to use him in specialized packages because of his dual threat, like maybe down in goal line down there?
They might do that. They might do that, but they think they got some potential there to develop him. So I think they're thinking about the development part. They see a big upside in the kid. With most of these guys, they've got to be developed. They're guys that are going to be contributing on special teams, backing up, and the whole thing is they're going to be working them, and they want these guys in a year or two where these are guys that can start. So they look at a guy, does he have the talent where eventually he could step in? Because really, this is the way they drafted Jalen Hurts. He was on the bench. They say we can develop him. He can be a starter in the NFL. And that's the way they look at all these guys. They see them that they've got the potential, but they need work here, they need work there. And our job is to develop them so at some point, they're going to come in and they're going to be starting for us and they're going to be helping us find ways to win. So that's what they look at. They've got to have that potential or they're not interested in it.
How about this, Gary? 35% of NFL rosters are built with guys that are drafted rounds 4 through 7 in UDFAs.
Yeah.
So when everyone goes to sleep on the top 3 rounds, okay, after the 3 rounds, it's different in today's NFL, isn't it? Because you can't pay everybody because of the money and the salary cap. So these guys from rounds 3 down, these guys are important for the depth of the football team, correct?
That's right. And see, that's why, with all these guys, if you look at them, you'll see they got the physical potential to do the job. But some of them, they're projects. So they could be a year project, 2-year project. So right away, the coaches are going to be expected to develop these guys where they're getting better throughout the camp, and then during the season, they're getting better. And one thing the Eagles do is they'll have guys staying out after practice all the time, working on their technique, especially young guys. They want them thinking, to develop, and that's going to be a key with all these guys. And the kid from Africa, I mean, he's a physical specimen, and we'll see whether he's able to play.
Hey, listen, I call him this. I say that he's Myles Garrett without football tape.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just a physical freak. I saw him, man. I'm going to do this, running like 4'6" or whatever, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
But you see, he's a specimen, but he's got a lot to learn. That's the thing. He's got a lot to learn, and that's what I see with the other guys. They're all guys that have the capability. See, now if they don't have the capability, they're not they want to see guys with potential, and we'll work with them. We expect, our coaches to develop them, and that's part of their job. So that's why this is going to be interesting. And of course, Jonathan Gernard, they expect him to come in right away. They want him to give them a lot. Of course, they expect him to be starting next year, and they want to come in and they want production. They would like him to be, one of their best, if not their best pass rusher coming off the corner. And you got to give Howie credit. He makes a move like that, but that's something that they had in the works and they had their eye on him. But you got a guy that has played among the elite in the league, and they want to see him get back to that where he's playing at that elite level.
You think that's an upgrade over Jalen Phillips?
Well, it could be. I think it's close. I think it's very close to where.
Or do you think it's a lateral move?
I think it's lateral, but we'll see if he can even improve even more, because he has had like 12-year sack year.
Yeah,
I think
2 in a row.
Yeah, so he has done it and shown that he can do it, and that's why they're excited about that, because I know he had an injury and things, but they expect him, and I'm sure they told him, we expect you to come in here and be our best pass rusher, because if you do have the guy coming from outside, of course the guys inside love that you get somebody coming from outside, because then a lot of times they're going to make sure that quarterback can't step up, because if he's getting pressure from outside, he's going to try to look for places to step up, and a lot of times you get, well, you guys know, but you get those sacks that come to you, and those guys always appreciate that kind of thing,
Hey, yeah, when he falls down and you put your hand on him and you get a sack for that, those are my favorite sacks on the planet.
That's right.
Are you concerned that, you talk about player development, you're going from Jeff Stoutland to Chris Cooper. A lot of pressure on Chris Cooper to develop the offensive line, which the Philadelphia Eagles have been known for, right?
Without a doubt. I was looking on online, and I saw Jordan Mailata. He started talking about, his coach, Ernie and everything, boo-hooing like a baby, because look what he did for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the money he's making, the opportunity he has, and he was developed by the coach. And so those guys are going to have to make an adjustment, because you got a different guy in there. And we're going to see. Now, there's a lot of pressure on him. There's a lot of pressure on him to come in and develop guys. And I'm sure with some of the older guys, he's not going to be as much of a pusher to get them to do everything the way he did it. Because if a guy's been having success, you don't want to come in and mess that up. But the younger players are the thing he's going to be working on, which is, developing some of these guys like Markeel Bell. He's a project. He's a guy who he has tremendous size, and he's very athletic.
He's as big as Bryant McKinney.
I know. I mean, he's just.
Now look, he played with Mike Canes, right? And
yeah.
I'll tell you what Mario said about him.
Yeah.
Mario said the only issue that sometimes he has, because when he's so big, this as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you duck your head. Well, when you duck your head, you're going to get swam.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, again, that's my concern about Chris Cooper, because keep your head back, slide your feet. Between him and Morris, I will tell you this.
Yeah.
If you look at all of their pre-draft stuff, it's all coachable stuff, like sliding your feet, not worrying about the second move. I thought Jordan Mailata kind of struggled a little bit on second moves because he was like an infant in knowledge when it came to playing the left tackle position.
That's right.
Gary, that's all stuff that can be developed if you coach these guys right.
Well, and that's where coaching, that's why, you want to make sure you got people there that can go in and day to day, these guys are getting better. And, it doesn't happen, miraculously where all of a sudden, boom, you're different. It takes some work. You got to put the work in. And then mental, a lot of it's mental, where you got to be thinking the right way when you come to the line of scrimmage. If you're not thinking in the right way, where you're anticipating certain things, you come in right away. Hey, this is what I'm anticipating. Just like when playing linebacker, you start learning the game. Okay, they're in a certain formation. What do they like to do out of that formation? Right away, you're yelling it out. Hey, they get ready to run a screen. Look, you see look inside and you see, because the guards and the tackles, sometimes they don't care about somebody. They get tired. They don't care if they're tipping off something because they're tired. So that guy's leaning back, you know, and you can see, hey, they're not running the ball. They're getting ready. This guy's getting ready to pull. So and then you start learning the game, and then it allows you to be a split second early, and that's when you start making big plays because you anticipate what the other team's going to do because you went in there, and you've been looking at tape all week. These guys hey, this doggone tackle here is telling me what they're getting ready to do. They're throwing the ball here. So, and like I said, a lot of times the big guys, once they get tired, they do not care if they're letting you know what they're doing. They're going hey, look, I'm tired, I'm tired. And so you want to be smart. And then, what you want to do is you're looking for that big play. See, now, if you could get a big play, an interception, force a fumble, that's the key to winning, that's where it comes. And so the Eagles want to be a defense that's playing like that. And, hopefully offensively, they're not making mistakes and tipping off
How about this, Gary? So mini camps next week. Mm-hmm. So what I would say to you is this their biggest challenge? Because I remember my first mini camp, they threw 700,000 plays, it seemed, at me. Mm-hmm. And I found out later on why they did that. They wanted to see how much I could retain. Mm-hmm. Is that the biggest challenge next week for these guys to figure out? Because they want to see how much it's not what you know, it's how much you retain. Is that the challenge next week?
That's going to be a challenge. Some of the guys will be ready for it more because they had more in college, but that is going to be something they got to deal with. And as a professional, you can get kind of mentally tired, but you got to revive yourself, And, I can't even say some of the things I used to say about the fact that, they're handing you money now because they were handing these guys money in college too. So, like you guys. But anyway.
Oh, okay. Who was driving the Ferraris? I think we were driving Jaguars, but I think I know somebody who was driving Ferraris. That's them Trojan guys out west.
That must have been Marcus, Marcus Allen. He was driving them. But anyway, but this is pro ball, so it's serious. The production if you produce, you're going to be rewarded for it, and so you got to be serious about it, and that's what the big thing is. That's where some of the veterans will start telling the guys right away, man, this is not a hobby. You got to know what you're doing, man. We're all dependent on you to know what you're doing, and that's really the big thing. Is it's going to be the mental thing, like you said. That's what they get hit with.
Okay. Are you disappointed how this A.J. Brown divorce has happened with the Eagles? And are you disappointed with the ending? Because, I don't know if it ended like T.O., but boy, I'll tell you, for you to lose a player like this, and he still got juice in the tank, like Terrell Owens did. Are you disappointed how this thing's ending?
Well, that's why, you're just saying like, hey, let's not get rid of this guy. I don't care what he's doing. I don't care if he's locking people, in their locker or whatever. I don't care, but because you ultimately you need people that are going to be game breakers when games are on the line. You need somebody to make a play, and you want as many of those guys out there. But I have come to realization, like everybody else, is he's gone. I don't think it's even a matter of if. I think he's adios. And you can see with the way the moves they made, and with the fact that he's not even mentioned as one of the guys on the team anymore. So it's unfortunate. I think it's a shame because the guy's talented, but you got to move on, and they got to move on. And Mekhi Lemon, you got to step up.
Hey, Gary. So. Adam Schefter reported today when he was on the Pat McAfee show, he said that the Eagles are looking at right now, and I want you to hear this date, they will receive a 2028 first-round pick for AJ.
Woo.
So, that's 2 years out.
I'm not happy about that, man.
Me too, man. Why would Howie agree to that?
2028?
2028.
That's a century away, when you're talking about NFL, I don't like that part of it. No, I mean you want to get you want to get rewarded right away. You're doing them a favor. 28. Now I thought that surely they would have something. I mean at the worst next year.
Yeah.
But I don't like that part. Now that's that's unfortunate because that's time where he's going to be contributing to somebody else. And what are you getting for that?
Nothing. You're actually I would look at it this way. And no shade on Mekhi Becton here. Or excuse me, no shade on Malachi Lemon here.
Yeah.
But the question would be this. Okay, well, Lemon and Devontae are a downgrade from AJ and Smitty.
Yeah.
Why would I wait 2 years to get that like money back? Why would I do that?
Well, all that says is all the talk, all the stuff that was talked
About
these
Jalen?
teams. Well, not so much about Jalen, about AJ. Where the team's sitting there knowing you got to get rid of the guy, that you're going to get rid of the guy, that he's not happy, he doesn't want to be there. So basically, that's the only way that you agree to something like that. You had to be in a situation where this is the best you can get. See, that's what that's saying, that all the other teams were saying, obviously, they didn't want to give you that. So if you had to wait to 2028 to get something for AJ, then his stock went down over time because everybody knew you're trying to get rid of him, So,
wow. So the Eagles lost leverage by drafting Lemon?
I mean, 2028? Come on, in football, how long ago is that
that's
from
1,000
now?
years.
Yeah, so because look at how many things could happen in 2028. You got to play 2 seasons before you get rewarded, but yet he's over there contributing to the other team.
Shit, you got to play 3 seasons. You got to 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, 2 seasons because the 28 draft. It'd be 2 seasons in the 28 draft. How do you feel how Howie's? A couple last ones here for you, JAKIB. How do you feel about the offseason for Howie?
Well, I think that it's got a lot of we're going to see. There's a lot of wait and sees with these guys that he signed, that, the wide receivers he signed. How much are they going to get out of them? Are they going to be able to utilize these guys? You got some guys with big time speed. Some guys got more size. But are they going to get these guys in here and utilize them, be able to utilize them in different places in the offense and get something out of them? Because that's what they're going to see. And then, you're not going to keep everybody. So, you want the cream to rise to the top. That's what you're looking for. You want them to get in there and compete and see who's better. And then hopefully, your younger players, like Lemon, you need him next year. See, you need him right away because, you got AJ moving out. So I think Eli Stowers, however you pronounce it, they're going to expect him to produce next year because I was telling you about the tight end situation. They're going to be running double tight end. And so you can see right away, he's a very good receiver, but they need him to develop into a blocker as well, where he starts taking blocking seriously and realizes it's a big part of the job. And then also with Bell, you're talking about guys that need to be developed. Now, Bell, he gets a pass this year. Next year, they need him out there, see? So this is where, pressure on the coaches. They got to do a good job developing people. And, these guys got to step up. They're not, it's like years ago, going to school, tell you, we didn't bring you out here to stand around.
I'll tell you this, Gary. One thing about the 2028 for AJ here. You think they're giving Hurts 2 years to figure this offense out?
Well,
because realistically, that's when they can move off him 28.
Well, this is all about production. I mean, this is the NFL, this is all about production. The coaches do not have a job where it's always going to be there. And of course, neither do the players, And I think, and Jalen knows that. That's why he's over there working. He knows you got to get better. You got to produce. If you don't produce, they're going to be finding somebody to come in and replace you. And at that quarterback position, of course, it's important. And, you don't want to get to the point where you start to hear that the Eagles are out talking about quarterbacks to, trades and stuff like that. You don't want to hear that stuff, but if you're not producing, then you might as well know. If you don't hear it, you might as well still know that they're looking for other people. And they're always looking at quarterbacks. And they've always said that this is where they always are looking for quarterbacks because they know quarterbacks are valuable. And if they're not playing for you, then the quarterback's valuable to other people. So people are interested in giving you something for the quarterback. So quarterback something is always value in the NFL.
Lynn Swann, Keyshawn Johnson, best USC wide receiver. Who is it?
Well, Lynn Swann was clutch. Keyshawn was more productive, though, because, they threw the ball more than back when Lynn Swann was there. He had a few, every opportunity he got was big. But now he did have some big games with everything on the line with the national championship out there. So, and then, of course, in the pros, Lynn's got a whole lot of rings.
He does, man. He's got four of them. All right, wait. OJ, Marcus Allen, Charles White.
Phew.
And who was your AD that won the Heisman?
Oh, you talking about Mike Garrett?
Mike Garrett, yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Garrett won a Super Bowl with KC, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, little guy, very tough.
OJ's the best.
Yeah, I mean, he was special. He was.
Yeah, dude. Bro.
Oh, man.
Nothing like me. Boy, that program's produced so many great players.
Yeah.
All them Hall of Famers. Gary, he was the best linebacker of all time coming out of there. Sileo?
Well, Sileo was up there. Whew. I guess you could go with them and say you'd be comfortable.
Who's the guy that played for the Bucks on that Leroy Selman? David Lewis.
Yeah, David Lewis. Yeah, I played with David Lewis. He was good.
Did Davis play with you? Did David play with you?
Yeah, played with Davis, and we had David Lewis and Rod Martin, who just passed.
Oh, was he not a Super Bowl MVP?
No, he didn't get the MVP, which was kind of crazy because he had 3 interceptions in the Super Bowl against Ron Jaworski and the Eagles.
Did you play with Rod too?
Yeah, Rod was there too. Yeah, it was Rod and David Lewis, and yeah, we had a few guys. We had some good players.
Yeah, good player. Who was your D-line guys?
Well, Gary Jeter was on the defensive line.
Holy shit, Gary Jeter.
Yeah, Gary Jeter, and we had a number of other guys. Some of them didn't get to the pros because of injuries and things. A guy, Walter Underwood, who's a great player.
Did you play with Munoz?
Yeah, played with Munoz. Yeah, he was one of our tackles. Young kid came in there. Yep, Anthony Munoz.
Man, you know what? When I was a kid growing up, I'd love Charles White.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He wore that number 12, and he ran for like 2-1. When I was a young. By the way, I played against him when he was with the Rams.
Yeah.
And he had taken over for Eric Dickerson. I think he had 1,200 yards behind that old line one year. And Gary, he was such a great. I remember as a kid sitting back in Stanford, and I'm watching the Rose Bowl. This guy goes for like 250.
Yeah.
Versus like Ohio State. And I'm like, this guy's wearing number 12. He's jumping over the pile and shit. I mean, Reggie Bush too, right?
Yeah, Reggie Bush. He was he had that lightning speed, man. He kick it in the gear, boy. He could be gone.
I'll tell you what we need to do one day. You and me need to take the University of Miami grades and the USC grades, and we'll take the field. And I tell you what, I think we'd be okay.
That'd be a good game.
No. I'm saying I'll take us. We'll put a roster together.
Yeah.
Whoever you want to put together, I'm good with our team.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Cobb, I can't thank you enough for going to Bobby V's. Thank you so much. That is so awesome of you to do that.
No problem,
friend, man, and you're a Stanford legend. and I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You got it. G Cobb.
All right.
That's really dope of him, man. That's awesome. I love Gary Cobb. So Gary went to Bobby Valentine's for me today. Place that I grew up. How many times did I get thrown out of that place? I beat the doorknobs off a guy once in there. I forget why, but I beat the doorknobs off a guy. Guy was talking trash to me, and I crushed this guy there. I think I was barred for a week. Then the next week, Bobby V called me in, and he goes, "Listen, you can't beat people up here." I said, "The guy threw a beer on me." And he goes, "He did?" He goes, "Yeah." The guy goes, "He did." And Bobby V went back, looked at the tape and all. He goes, "He did." All right, it's all good. I beat the brakes off that guy. Holy cow. That's not true, Betty. How many times did I get thrown out of Bobby V? She said 50. That's not true. 50. No, that's not true. Oh my God. No, that's not true. Yeah. Oh, by the way, check this out here. I got to show you guys real quick. Here's my kid's hat. Hold on for a second. Here's my kid's hat. She refused to send me the team picture, though. But here's my kid's hat. Hold on here. I got to show you this. This thing is dope. Here it is. Look at this. Boom. Women's D1 champs. Pacific Super Region. How you doing? They made it to the Final Four and are going to play in a national championship. My kid played for a national championship in college. Now she's playing for a national championship in the pros. You think there's any coincidence? No. And her college team is walking backwards the other day, and Dee Dee's new team is moving forward. I don't think there's any coincidence when you add somebody like that. All right. Hit the like button here. Also, I got to hit on this pick here. So the Philadelphia Eagles, according to Adam Schefter, the Eagles will receive a 2028 first-round pick for A.J. Brown. Let me do a little research here for a second. When is the earliest the Eagles can get out of Jalen Hurts' contract? Okay. $2028. Cutting or trading Hurts in 2028 could provide significant cap savings of $23.2 million. In 27, post June 1, cut or trade is the first realistic option to move on, though it would still inquire a significant dead cap hit. 26 out, releasing or trading him before the 2026 season would result in over $63 million in dead money, making it unlikely. 27 is the first sign where if you go post June 1, it's the first time you can get realistically an ability to be able to move on. In 28, cutting or trading Hurts in 28 would provide cap space relief of 23.2. So theoretically, the 2026 season, if Hurts doesn't show up, you can get out from under that guy's contract in 26. That's the first time you can get out from that guy is 2026 here. Let me see here. I thought I saw something, Kim, that you put up here. Here we go. Kim, I didn't forget you. AJ and Micah, you are both complete whining assholes. You both have a hit on others to make yourselves feel better. Karma's a bitch. And go play with it, W. How you doing? Hey, Kim, I hated what he did, too. Thought it was total bullshit what he did. Sorry if this is a dumb question. If we end up not trading AJ, is he allowed to hold out and force a trade, or does his contract demand he participate in all team activities? It's a great question. I don't know about OTAs. I don't know that. I know this. They could put him on the PUP list, player unable to perform. And that means he gets like a percentage of his contract. That means he doesn't really get paid all that much. NCAA president Charlie Baker told ESPN today that he's pretty optimistic that a new age-based eligibility proposal will happen per Tamil. Here's what I think it is, Tommy. I think you're going to have 5 to play. You're going to have 6 to play 5. And that's going to be the limit. Like instead of you have 5 years to play 4 with the red shirt. I think they're going to give you 6 years of eligibility. And you get to play 4 and then with medicals and red shirt. I think they're going to try to limit it to 2 years. Instead of seeing a guy that's 30 years old playing in college football, I think that's what you're probably going to see. You're probably going to see 6 years that you're going to get eligibility maximum. You're going to get 4 years to play 6, and you get a medical and you get a redshirt year. So there's going to probably be 2 years in there. Most people don't use the medical. Like if you get hurt, say in training camp, back in the day, if you got hurt in training camp, you were shit out of luck. Now you get a medical and you can like apply for a medical red shirt, and most of the time you get it. So if you think about it, Lemon in the best position of the receivers drafted round 1, he's going against Quinion and DeJean. Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, I would say this to you, that Stowers is going to get a chance to go against a guy like Jonathan Gernard. Markeel Bell is going to be playing against dudes like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Moro Jomo. That's going to make him better as well. Yeah, so the first time you can start getting out from Hurts is after 26. Let me double check that. Yep. You can't do it before this year because it's a $63 million dead cap hit. But 27 is the first realistic option that you can move on and out from him. 28, you get cap relief, actually, if you blow the guy out. Man, if you make a mistake on a big quarterback contract, you can have your team stripped of talent just to get under the cap. Explain, Cal. Dude, no question about it. $100 million in dead cap money with that Tua deal is a nightmare. I actually think the Dolphins had a pretty good draft. That new general manager down there, I actually like what the Dolphins did. I mean, they ended up getting Caden Proctor, and I think John Eric Sullivan had a pretty good draft. He took over for Chris Greer. I like what they did in the 3rd round. They got that blocking tight end kid. They got Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker All-American consensus from Texas Tech. I don't know. How about this? Prospects and potential. I think it was pretty good. Let me work with Smitty on your route running, sharpening up a bit, kid. Sometimes you don't sell the route enough. Okay? The key to the difference in the pros is the finishing of the route. What a guy will do in college football and get away with it. So here's 15 yards. Okay? In college, he'll do this. You see him under the 15 number? That's called rounding a route off. In the pros, you run that exactly because timing is a matter of a fact. And right here, that's where champions are made on the great wideouts. The great wideouts are made here at the back end and also at the turn of the route. Getting off the guy, turning, and in the anticipating of the throw. In college, you can bell curve it. Yeah, you could bell curve it here and get away with it. That's why you see in the Big 12, you see a lot of those pass catchers in the Big 12, when they get to the NFL, they're not precise route runners. That's why you see guys at Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. Those guys are spectacular route runners because they're taught right. When you got great coaching like that, you get to the NFL. That's what Jalen Reagor's problem was. Jalen Reagor's problem was technique. He wasn't coached it when he was at TCU. I mean, I can't think of a kid that came out of TCU outside of the running back, LaDainian Tomlinson, that was a great skilled player as a skilled guy. Even the wide receiver the Chargers got from TCU never really panned out. I think TCU's overrated. Yeah, his speed was great at TCU. His route running ability was terrible. Steele's not sure if you saw Stoutland was on the New Heights podcast and says he's done with the Eagles completely. He says he will take a year off and decide on what he wants to do next. Holy shit. Hey, DFW, really? I'm done with the Eagles completely. Let me say this to you, DFW. If that Philadelphia Eagle offensive line shits the bed and Stoutland goes to the New York Giants, or he goes to the Cowboys, or he goes to Washington just to stick it in their ear, yeah, that's not something I want to hear that he doesn't like. Boy, I'm done with them completely. Wow. That doesn't sound like a guy who was mutual parting of the ways. I think Caleb Downs is the best player defensively in the draft for sure. Cowboys getting Downs. I think the Cowboys had a great draft. I really do. I think the Jets had a great draft. I think the 49ers were like very underwhelming. I thought the Bucks getting Bain, he slipped to 15. I think they were good. I really love Sonny Styles playing next to Bobby Wagner. Man, that's going to be good. I think the Steelers had a terrible draft outside of Eli Henrich, what's his name? I love that Navy pick. I thought it was awesome in the 7th round. But man, they were all over the place. That's like one of the worst like drafts I've seen the Steelers like not address any need. I thought the Patriots were average. I thought the Rams shit the bed. Ty Simpson, 13th overall. 3rd round tackle they took. Probably their best pick. I guess. I thought the Chargers did well. I thought the Raiders did well. Chiefs were exceptional. The Texans, I don't know. I don't know, man. Some people think they were okay. I thought the Texans, I kind of think they slid a little. For a team not having a first-round pick, I thought the Packers did okay. The Lions, for the first year for Brad Holmes, their GM, I thought this was probably their least impressive draft in 5 years. They got the kid Abney. He's a 5th-round guy. Will he play? He's a pretty physical dude. They got Blake Miller, Zander's guy. But again, I don't know. Cowboys were good. I thought the Browns did well. They got that kid Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in the 3rd. I thought, there were people talking about him being a 1. I thought the Bengals picked up some good. They got Cassius Clay, I think, in the 2nd round. The Bears, I think they did well. Carolina, I mean, I know everybody loved Monroe Freeling. I was not a Monroe Freeling guy. And plus, I don't really think they needed him. The Bills, middle of the road. I think there were some decent players. I didn't really think the Ravens did that hot. Outside of the pick, the kid from Penn State. Outside of the pick from Penn State, I didn't really think they were all that hot. Texas drafted a guard. How can I be, What was your input on our quarterback selection? Well, here, I'll do it again for you. And then you tell me. Maniac. NFL. Maniac, check this out. So you tell me what you think of your quarterback here. This is what they wrote. Okay? Runs a 4.5. So this is what you tell me. This is his strengths. Kobe Payton. Is it Cole? It's Cole Payton. Possesses a sturdy firm for an NFL quarterback. Left-handed passer who can roll left and throw accurate strikes on the move. Okay? Above average placement on deep throws outside the numbers. Here's the weakness. Only one season of FCS. He didn't play anybody except for Illinois State. Needs a makeover with his passing mechanics. Throws with wide base and leaves his back left behind in delivery. I'm not even sure what that looks like. Unable to generate NFL caliber drive throws into tight windows. Not prepared to dissect zone coverage into intermediate space. Likely requires a tailored scheme to fit his strengths and weaknesses. This guy's a wildcat quarterback, dude. He's a gadget. Right. I tweeted it out immediately. He's Taysom Hill. So, I mean, and you took him with the 5th pick, which is kind of, maybe you would have went with It all depends on what happens with Tanner. Well, Cole Payton is a gadget, dude. Gargano reported that Mannion wanted him, which is interesting. You know what that leads me to believe? They want him in red zone, and they want him down in the goal line down there to create hybrid offenses, like wildcat offenses. That's really not a pro. How about this? You having him on the team, that doesn't make you a pro-style offense. The only pro-style quarterbacks you have on your team are Andy Dalton and Tanner McKee. The rest of them are like wildcat guys and dual threat dudes. Okay? So the Eagles just picked up the fifth-year option on Nolan Smith. I'll give you my takeaway here. So let me go here. They had a couple days to do this. By the way, check this out. First round of the 2026 NFL Draft delivered 13.2 million viewers across ESPN's platforms, generating the third most watched day one event. That goes back to COVID. So let me see Nolan Smith here. Okay. So Nolan Smith, Eagles are picking up, according to Jeremy Fowler, the fifth-year option for pass rusher Nolan Smith at $13.37 million. That's the least amount of money a first-rounder can make. There's 3 tiers. All-Pro, Pro Bowl, productive. There's actually 4 tiers, and he's at the bottom. That's the least amount of money you can pay him. So let's see here. I want to double check that number. Fifth-year option. Linebackers. Tier money. Okay, here. He got the basic. He got the least amount of money. So here's your option. Multiple Pro Bowls, they would have paid him $26.87 million. One Pro Bowl, $21.93. Playtime met specific snap count threshold of 75 average or similar. That would have been 15.12. He didn't even reach that. Basic, he did not meet Pro Bowl or playtime criteria. $13.75 million. It's the bottom tier. So at the end of the day, fifth-year option for Smith. He made the least amount of money you could possibly make. Actually, it's not. It's not 14.5. It's 13.75 is what he made. 13.75 actually for the 27 season. Let's take a look at his numbers too. Yeah, here's the tiers. And what you make. Here's according to the NFL Players Association. Multiple Pro Bowls, 26.87. If he had made multiple Pro Bowls and on the original ballot, you make 26.87. You make one Pro Bowl, you're 21.93. Playing time met specific snap count thresholds of 75% or similar, you would have made 15.12. Basic, he did not meet Pro Bowl or playing time criteria. That's 13.75 that you made. And let's take a look at something else here with Smith. So Nolan Smith. Here we go. Nolan Smith. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was the 30th pick in the draft. So let's see. 17, 34, 17. It's 51 ball games. How many games did he start? He started 22 games and 51 starts. He was eligible to play, and he didn't play in 22. He didn't. Games started. He didn't start any. He played in 17 that season, and he's played in 45 games. So he's played in 45 of the 51 games, and he started 22. That he was eligible for. So he started half the games. And if you look at it, to be fair, first year you're not going to start. So the last 2 years, he started 22 games out of 34, I believe. Yeah. 22 out of 34 ball games. He missed a total of 12 ball games in the last 2 years. So again, that's not a contract extension for sure. He's not worth no $100 million contract or anything, no. Now, there was talk last year by many of you guys that guy was going to be a $25 million a year guy. He's nowhere near that. Now, could he change that this year and play himself back into that? Maybe. You can't miss 50% of your games and get a contract extension. Ask the Kobe. It's a great question. Isn't this wild? Everyone's getting like contract. I mean, get this. What's a priority? Jalen Hurts' contract extension? Or if you really thought the guy was going to be part of the new offense, why don't you extend him? But he's already been told no, they're not. Not yet. I agreed with you. You know how much money you could save if you gave that contract an extension and you gave him one? Here, like I said, I mean, all this money, where is Hurts' extension? I would Dexter Lawrence the Eagles before they put me in a system I can't run. Let's see here. We've concluded that it's a wait and see. Yeah, it is a wait and see. In 2027, the first time they can get out, they can get rid of him after June 1 of next year if this guy doesn't pan out and can't play in this offense. Right. Get this. Hey, Brian, think about what they're doing. They're bringing all these offensive guys in. They're changing the entire offense. You know what people are saying? That, hey, they're improving the run game? Based on what? Based on what? Hey, did they pick up Jalen Carter's fifth-year option? Did they pick up his fifth-year option? We would have been dead right on this if that's true, because I said there was no way they're extending him. Did they pick up his fifth-year option? You were never getting that contract this year. Okay. Once again, we told you at the beginning of this year that they gave. Now, I will say this. They can go back and add an extension onto this. So let's wait and see a little bit. Okay? Look, for me, I think the money, $13 million for Nolan Smith, is a little rich. He's not a bad football player. And 13.75, I think it is. I don't think that's a bad deal. for a first-round draft pick. I don't see the Carter deal yet. I expect the Philadelphia to do the same with Carter. Now, the 50-year option with Carter is $27 million. Okay, that's a different number. You're now starting to talk about getting the guy up in the big money number now. You're talking almost $30 million for a 50-year extension on Jalen Carter. That's kind of the number probably where the Eagles want to land anyway. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. I still think they're probably trying to work something there. But remember, you got Drew Rosenhaus, dude. Drew Rosenhaus is not. I don't think so. 13.75. Has he been a productive player? Let's see. So what do you guys think? He's got 10.5 sacks in 3 years. He's got 10.5 sacks in 45 games. And he was supposed to play in 51. What do you make of it? You think Nolan Smith in 3 years, 10.5 sacks? Sales. Cowboys just signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling the same day it was reported Pickens hasn't signed his tag. Boy, I'll tell you, George Pickens is playing a game. He has no leverage. I mean, he has zero leverage. That tells Eagle fans everything they need to know about the future of Hurts with the Eagles. $13 is great for Nolan. Shit, he's better than Huff and cheaper. It's a great way to look at it. Yes, sir. He's cheaper and he's better. Yes. That's a great way of looking at it. The problem is it's been too hard to find other guys for edge. You kind of got to take that $13 million. I think you're right, dude. $13 million is a steal today, right? For an average player. Look at Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips just got 30 PPV for the next 4 years. And I think he's a good player. But exceptional? This guy just got exceptional money. And he's a good player. Get your popcorn ready. This is going to blow up. Just like the Micah versus Jerry negotiations. Pickens will not play under the franchise tag. I completely 1,000% agree. And Jerry's already preparing by adding Scanlon. You don't want to play? Fine. He can't go anywhere, dude. He can't do anything. He has no leverage. Jerry doesn't do that. He just makes you prove it for more than 1 year before he pays top of the market. Example, Pickens. I agree. 100%. So again, on Nolan Smith, I think getting Nolan Smith signed to his 50-year option, I think he's been a good player. I don't think he's fulfilled being the number 30th pick in the draft. If you had to do that all over again, he plays like a third rounder. Like when I look at him, you think he's been a better player than Nakobe Dean was? Nakobe was a third round pick. Linebacker, I get it. Outside LB, edge, different positions. But who was more productive? My question is this. If you're going to pay a guy $13 million, why don't you just give why don't you just give Nakobe that $13 million? So you think if you draft a guy in the first round, and he showed spots, Twiz, of being okay, with moments of being pretty decent and yet not consistent, you're okay with 4 years of having 10 sacks going into his fourth year. I think this is the take on Nolan Smith. Smith is slightly better than average. Dean is better when healthy. I think Nolan Smith is a good player, but he just can't. His body's not built for the NFL. Thoughts on the shitty 49er draft? Whew, man. That draft that they had, yeah, I don't get it. I mean, they weren't even in the first round. I don't know. They got that wide receiver in the second. Yeah, I don't get it. Niners were all over the place. Jerry hates that agent for sure. And Pickens went and got the agent that Parsons had. that guy in Houston. He can't stand that guy. Yeah, I'm not getting that either. Well, if your boy's so good, why didn't he get an extension? And on top of that, it's the lowest fifth-year option you can get. Let me guess, Reyes. You think he's played like the 30th pick in the draft? Of course you do. I don't even need your answer, so save it. Seals, is there another quarterback playing with similar contract with no money like Hurts? I can't think of one. I can't. I can't think of one. That's a great take. Seals, is there another quarterback with a similar contract with no money like Hurts? Mahomes is owed $450 million. What do you mean? Are you saying Patrick Mahomes is owed no money? Let me go to NFLPA. He signed a 10-year contract. Patrick Mahomes is in the fifth year of a 10-year, $450 million contract extension. Mahomes is roughly owed $265 million in remaining cash on his contract through the 2031 season. 26 cash owed for the 2026 season is $56.75 million in total cash. This year he's going to make $56 million bucks. This includes a $54.45 million restructure bonus paid out as a signing bonus and $1.3 in base salary. It's why his cap hit's low. Here's the numbers that continue. This year he's owed 56. 27, he's owed 52. In 28, he's owed 27. In 29, he's owed 34. In 30, he's owed 45. And in 31, he's owed $49 million. He's not owed any money? Based on who? All the quarterbacks playing now have guaranteed dough. Hurts is the only one who doesn't. Let's see that. That's a great pull, Hollywood. Let me go to the NFLPA. Let's see here. Shit. I love this little. I love this this thing we have for the NFLPA. I really do. Okay. So in 2027, dude, it's true. Jalen's got a couple million that are, I think he's got like 10 or something like that, maybe. That's owed to him. Whew. Here's some other bonuses and some contract notes. Additional $16.5 million of the 26 fully guaranteed begins January, February, March. So March 18th, 16.5 fully guaranteed. The remaining 30 of 26 salary guarantees the third league day in 25, which he's gotten now. In 27, 22 million of the 2026 salaries fully guaranteed third day of the league. And you're right. In 27, $696,000 of the 26 salary fully guaranteed on the third day. So his base is like nothing. Option bonuses. $50.285 million must be exercised by week 1 of 26. Week 1 of 27, when they could get out of the contract, is another 50. $85 million of Jalen Hurts' salary is insured. Full no trade clause. Super Bowl win. NFL, get this. NFL MVP win escalates every future salary $500,000. If he wins the NFL's most valuable player, every year it goes up. So he really has no money. '29th and 22nd in passing game stats over 2 years usually doesn't get you a new contract. Correct. Well, no, exactly. The passing game has been terrible the last 2 years. And they know that. And now they're bringing all these guys in. There is no excuses here for that passing game to be dog shit again. There's no excuses. There's zero excuses. You brought 5 pass catchers in and spent a first-round draft choice on them. There's no excuses for a dog shit passing game. There's no excuses. Look at how by the way, hey, one thing's for sure. Get this. You see this right here? It's a guy in denial. They've brought in 5 new pass catchers. They're changing the offense completely. And they're asking him to be somebody different. So here, let me double check this. Woo! Is this hurt? So Jalen Carter just got his 5th-year contract extension picked up, or his 5th-year option picked up. I told you from day one this guy wasn't getting a 3-year contract extension. There's no way in hell coming off that year they were giving him that. There is no way in God's green earth were they giving that guy a 3-year extension. Every one of you in here said he's getting a 3-year deal. He didn't earn it. That's kind of a slap in the face. But I bet you anything, that's where the Eagles were negotiating with Drew Rosenhaus, that they wanted to pay him south of 30. And just think of this for a second. Jordan Davis makes as much just about as Jalen Carter. And they feel comfortable giving that guy a contract extension than they do giving Jalen Carter a contract extension. Okay? Hey, and get this. Well, where's the fucking contract extension, dude? Where's the north of $30 million? Made the Pro Bowl. He's such a great player, and he's a centerpiece. Why didn't they give him a contract extension? You defeat the purpose with your own dumb shit. He made the Pro Bowl. Okay. Why not give him a 3-year deal? If he's a centerpiece, what happened? Not a shocker? I'm not shocked either. Hey, Reyes, he's a Pro Bowler. What happened then? Where's the extension you said he was getting? Or let me guess, you forgot that now. You never said that, right? Okay? Dude, here's the deal here, too. Remember what they did with Jordan Davis? Jordan Davis a year ago had a chance to get a contract extension. Instead, they picked a 5th-year option up. Then this year, they gave him it because they wanted him to prove it. Jordan Davis could have got a 3-year deal a year ago. Everyone, I was told he was getting a 3-year deal. You guys were sitting there saying they're working on it. Let me ask Rosenhaus what's going on. That's a good number, though, man, for him. Absolutely. Yeah. Same guy in trade rumors all offseason. Eagles said they were working on Carter's extension back at the Combine. Well, what happened? They aren't agreeing on the numbers. Carter's agent wants to reset the market. How he isn't paying for a player that had a down year. Correct. Eagles were almost forced to pay Carter more money because they paid Donut Davis. They didn't say that they don't discuss contracts. Or didn't they? Bye-bye, A.J. Brown. Nice knowing you. Still working on it. Oh, okay. They could add it, Jason. They could. Not a problem with that. So let me get this right. You're going to sign a contract with a guy, $27 million, right? And then you're going to go back to the agent and set the market at what, 34? Let's see here. Only way Carter's getting an extension is if this really team-friendly, which Carter is not going to do because of the agent with Drew Rosenhaus. Yeah, burner. That's me. Burner account. Bro, if you knew me in technology, you'd cut your finger off for typing that. I mean, I couldn't give Carter big money either. Dude plays too inconsistent. Correct. Seals, I love you, but going to call you out. If we didn't do this, you would be pissed. No. I said you weren't giving him a contract extension. And I said you were picking up the 5th-year option. I'm not backtracking. Wait. How many people in here said, you heard me say, that I didn't believe he was getting a contract of 3 years and that they were picking the 5th year up? If you didn't hear it, I'm not debating it because I never thought he deserved it. And I don't care. No, he just can't stand his own team's choking, so he has to talk about the Eagles instead of the irrelevant 49ers. 49ers are going to be a good football team. Okay? They got a good football team. 4x4, you're on your game today. Listen, I'll tell you what. And here's the gamble that the Eagles will play. If this guy plays great this coming year and he gets 10.5 sacks, Drew Rosenhaus is not going to be a friendly guy. I will give it to Howie. He learns quick and learns from his mistakes from 2020 and on. He is definitely a better draftee for sure. And I like the way he makes these guys like Jordan Davis and now Carter earn their contracts. I think it's a good move on Carter. Shoulders too. Think about that. Hey, doesn't the 5th year also, maybe they're concerned about his injuries up in his shoulders. Big Sills, I'm calling it. Hurts will be gone June 2nd, 27. I don't think you're off base. It will be Will Anderson money if he gets 11 sacks. He ain't going to make 50 interior. He'll make a good number, though. Carter's going to ball. $200 million contract incoming. Hey. Okay? I'll say this, man. Not a shocker. Jalen Carter didn't earn it. Piettis, you could do this. 5th year, you get 2 tags. Correct. You can hold that guy for the next 4 years if you felt with the fact that you wanted, if how you wanted to play it. If Carter balls out, I hope he gets it, but he hasn't proven anything yet. I think his 24 year, he was really good, especially in the down the stretch. I thought he was really good. I thought in his first year, I thought he was great for the first 10 games. And him and Davis fell off the planet. They were giving up 147 yards of rush in 23. 24, he was good. And 25, he was inconsistent and he was injured. I'm not paying a guy $35 million for that. And he was constantly in trade talks. I don't think Howie will do the Carter contract till he needs the cap space for a big agent like Crosby or Garrett. Bro, why not redo Hurts' contract. He did help, but this is a good placeholder type move. Both options make sense. Earn it. I don't have a problem with it. By the way, I wanted to be clear. I'm not having any thoughts of moving away from Jalen Carter. Zero. His name has just been brought up with numerous trade talks. But I'm not moving that guy. His name was in the Crosby deal, and his name was in the Garrett deal. His name was been thrown around in the Micah Parsons deal. Glad Sill's not Eagles GM. They would be the Browns. I'm just commenting on what you're doing. I didn't do it. By the way, I agree with what you did. The only way Carter gets his contract is if he comes out this year and makes an immediate impact. And they might give him the contract during the middle of the year if he does that. I don't know. I'm not believing Parsons. Parsons is an asshole. Takes a shot at Lemons for what? What reason did you take a shot at him for? Make that make sense. Kid's draft day, he takes a shit on him. Why? That made zero sense. I thought it was an asshole move. Gernard is going to have a better year than Carter. Watch. I think anytime you get a guy like Jonathan Gernard on your front seven, makes everybody better. For the record, I think it's the smart move for the Eagles. Fifth-year option. Howie said he doesn't like to extend guys mid-season because he doesn't want to play favorites and distract from the main goal, Sills. All right. I think he's pissed off he's not a Cowboy. I find it odd that the Eagles just picked up Nolan's rookie deal, but not Carter's. They did pick up his fifth-year option. He made an embarrassment out of himself doing that to Lemon. There's no need. There's no need. Eagles are Seals. Are the Eagles better today than they were? Yes. Because of the Gernard move. I think they're better. I don't know what the draft picks are going to bring. But Gernard made them better in the front seven. And Woolen made them better over Adoree Jackson. I think it's more of a lateral move with Phillips, so you're good there. And I think, again, the Woolen move, you put that all together, I think the defense is better. Or it can improve on what it did last year when it was improving. And then if you put Makuba back in the safety position, you're probably better if the kid can stay healthy. Okay. Really? Well, that hasn't been anywhere in Makuba's career where he's been better than Caleb Downs. His college career to Caleb Downs' career, he's night and day. Makuba was a good player. Downs is an exceptional player. Losing AJ didn't make them better. Does Gernard? Well, I was talking about the defense. The offensive side of the football, no, it's a downgrade. When you go rookie Smith versus AJ Smith, I think you're deeper at wideout, though. The defense, this year is better than last year's. It's a Super Bowl defense. You got to be better than 16th in the run game. Remember, when you won the Super Bowl, you were second pass defense, and I believe you were ninth in rush defense. Wishful thinking, Downs will have a good NFL career. He hasn't played yet. I think, again, prospect and potential. Hasn't done it yet, so I agree. The Eagles exercise the fifth-year options on JC and Nolan Smith. Downs will have to do everything for Dallas's defense. Back there, a lot of pressure. And to your point, that creates a lot of holes back there. So you're correct. He doesn't get good corner play. Look at what happened to Reed Blankenship last year, not having Gardner Johnson next to him. He was one of the most inconsistent players on the Eagle defense a year ago because he didn't have proper personnel around him. Made him a lesser player. Look at how the defense played until you got Jalen Phillips. Your secondary was constantly affected by it. Sills, how are you going to determine if the offense struggling at 26 is the quarterback, head coach? Great question. Or the coach's fault? That's a great question. I think the 3 and outs. Senor, do you agree? The 3 and outs will tell us how the offense is going, both player and coaching wise. If 3 and outs, you're still down at the bottom of the league, and 3 and outs, I would think that that's one metric to keep an eye on. Would you not agree? If you're still down in the 30s or in the late 20s and 3 and outs, I think that's where you get in trouble. And I think that could be a possibility where you get that's the one area where you get a look at and how your offense is going, would be the 3 and outs. All right. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. They win. With over $30 billion recovered, it's the number one injury law firm in all of America. I told you about the story in Pennsylvania. A family was offered initially $650K. They got nearly $30 million in settlement. The family down in Florida was offered $350K. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. This will be the easiest decision you ever make in your life. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
I believe Mark Farzetta's on with us, Kamar, to get his spin on the Eagle draft and these extensions that were just handed out. Pretty good money, too, for the Eagles handing out $27 million on a 50-year option for Jalen Carter and $13.75, I believe, for Nolan Smith. More on that tomorrow. We appreciate you. Hit the like button on the way out. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.